Razzle Dazzle. It's Body by Basil, the new exciting fitness craze that will get you Canary cry swole in no time at all. Just listen to these quotes from our participants. My muscles are huge. It's all or Nephilim. You'll be an apocalypse warlord in no time. Don't wait. Order today and save 33% for just 4 easy payments of only $33.33. You too can have the body of a googly eye, VR headset wearing Nephilim warlord.
A new, raw deconstruction of news and analysis. Introducing Canary Cry News Stalk, the new intense fragrance made specifically for thinking outside the cage. From your favorite podcasters, Basil and Goms.
Gons, can you hear me? I'm hearing reports about a prototype FLIPPY arm.
Don't tell me. FLIPPY is coming for our jobs.
That's right. You know what this means.
Yeah, it's wake-up time. Think outside the cage.
Hey everybody, what's going on out there in Canary land? We got people still coming in here. If you're here, share this link out. Make sure to hit that like button early on. Don't worry, you can always take the like back. I give you permission. Hit the thumbs up. If later on we say something that's thumbs down, you totally have the option to take away that thumbs up. That's the power that you have. It's the power within you. And it also helps us out a lot, if you could. Real time help with the algos during a live stream. And don't we all want that once in a while? Yeah, I think so. Okay, let's see. Over on Rumble, we got Tammy, we got MSDS, we got Kingdom Child 63, James Nocturnal Scowl. Okay, I'm not seeing. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. Okay, now I see. Okay, Salt Paul over on X, Unina over on YouTube. Oh, we got Mrs. Tinfoil Hatman in the chat. William. Who else? Margaret, estimating one. Yariel. Yes, that's how I pronounce that. Hopefully I got it right. Thank you very much. JD Richardson, Steffen, Most Mundane. Oh, we got a good gang in here today. Hello. Awesome. Okay. Oh, and remember, I can make things show up on the screen. I can make your comments. Woo, look at that. Thank you very much, Unina. Saying hit that like button, folks. Okay. Let's see. Did the text message send? Let's all find out together. The text message has sent. That's right, the Canary Cry text message alert system. Look, some of you get notifications. Most of you don't get notifications. Some of you get them sometimes. And here's the thing. If you want to make sure that you're always aware when we are going live, go ahead and text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. That's the word Canary to 877-740-3226. You'll get a message from me 3 times a week just before the show starts. And you can say stuff back if you want. We cannot carry on a conversation because it's very expensive for us. But I see your messages. Let's see. Somebody said, yeehaw! Yeehaw to you. Congratulations on all your hard work, Basil. It's impressive. Wow, thank you very much, anonymous texting person. I really appreciate that. We got, let's see here. Anyways, you get the point. So text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. And while you're at it, you can leave us a voice message with a little pre-show prayer by going to canarycrynewstalk.com, hit the green tab, leave us a little pre-show prayer, spiritually produce the show, much like this wonderful producer right now.
Hello, my name is Anthony, a longtime listener and supporter, and just wanted to pray for you guys. Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you, Lord, for Basil and Gons, Lord, and all that they have helped us with, Lord, and their, in this whole time, Lord, just bringing news and truth, Father. We just thank you so much for them, Lord. So, just blessings for them and their families, Lord, and, their farms and their animals, Father. And we just thank you so much, Lord, for strong men and women like Basil and Gons. And again, Lord, please be with them, Father. Guide them always, Lord. And we thank you for them in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gons as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is January 15th, 2024. My goodness. We are live to tape on episode 706. And today, 90 Seconds to War. And signing on from Off the Grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy Basil, and you are not crazy.
Are you doing something with the thing?
No, that's not me.
Oh, good. All right. Okay.
Who are you, strange man?
Yes, my name is Gons, director of the Age of Deceit films, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, live to tape from California to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events and today's emergent phenomena. I put in a short haiku, Basil, if you don't mind.
Okay.
World War III, East versus West. Peace, provoking the best, ain't war a racket.
Okay.
There you go.
Beautiful. Traditional Japanese poetry from your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ.
There it is.
For that, Gons.
Yep.
This is a quick little shout out to everybody in the live chat. We're still, Gons is still getting the feel for the steering wheel on this new program here. So here's the thing.
What's happening
I know
now?
people can sense issues with the live stream audio. Please describe what the problem is. If there's a problem, don't just say, hey, sounds funky. Describe what the problem is so Gons can more accurately address the problem, and we don't have to necessarily sort of pause the show and ask about it. So look, we all sense some adjustments going on with the audio with this new streaming platform, and we're not going to blame anybody but ourselves. In fact, you can just blame me. Don't even blame Gons. I will be the rag man when it comes to the technical aspect of this.
Yeah, so you're coming in a little light, so I turned you up in the thing, and I think you're louder now. I think you were too quiet. So
Yeah. I had some funky stuff too, but no need to address it now. Everything sounds okay as far as my side goes. So, with that, Gons, we're going to do something incredible, which is give a disclaimer, just in case any YouTube people, have any problems with people talking about stuff they're not supposed to talk about.
It's time for a disclaimer.
Now listen up, YouTube.
That's right. And just for all the content moderators and censorship managers out there, be they robots or humans, everything you hear on this show comes directly from the mainstream corporate news media. We do not claim to be experts on healthcare, geopolitics, military strategy, corporate law, or the moral and ethical implications of any of these topics, nor do we implicitly or explicitly support or subscribe to any sources or narratives containing misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation, as defined by the Department of Homeland Security. We're good boys. All right, YouTube, we're good boys.
Yes, we are. Don't you worry. And let me give you a rundown.
Oh, no, here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
At the top of the show, we're going to give you some very interesting updates on some ongoing stories here on the show, starting with the extremist Jewish teens. And how exactly did they dig those tunnels? We got Bryan Johnson, transhumanist, pumping himself with his teenage son's blood, starting a business. He's already a billionaire, so this is, he's got a lot of seed money. But you can't guess. Well, you can if you're looking at the screen, but the price per month of his anti-aging project blueprint will not surprise anybody. Quick update for Mr. Fauci. That's right, we haven't forgotten about you. Just some more details as to how he really felt at the beginning of the pandemic. Then, checking in with Flippy. You know what? Flippy, the robotic arm, flipped your burgers, flipped our, economy, and now we'll be flipping our own bodies. Watch out. Hide your kids, hide your wife. Flippy has got a new job. And then during the middle section of the show, we're jumping in to some big headlines, some big things going on in the Middle East, as well as a little history lesson in regards to what's going on in the oceans, where the merchants move their wares. And then a quick, let's see here, what else we got going on, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, the Doomsday Countdown. Pay attention, folks. And then a goat born with a human face. Days of Noah. End of the show. Stick around. But Gons, first, our lead stories.
Kabbalah. Kabbalah is a belief system that predates religion.
Kabbalah.
It's incredibly scientific.
It's incredibly scientific.
Yeah, well, according to some of its followers, sure. If you're digging
Was that
tunnels,
Madonna?
Of course it's Madonna. Who else would it be? Have you seen Madonna recently? It's kind of sad to see.
She was like in a coma for a while or something recently.
Yeah, it's not looking too great. But this is NewYorkPost.com with the headline, Extremist Jewish teens secretly hired migrants to dig covert Brooklyn synagogue tunnel, Shawshank style. So we covered the story last episode, and we were talking about how we're not certain exactly what was going on and maybe some of its implications. But I think it's a little bit clearer now, given a few days have passed. But this is a story coming out on the 11th, and it says here, extremist students from an ultra-Orthodox Hasidic group secretly hired migrant laborers to help them build a controversial tunnel at the SEX world headquarters in Crown Heights, all to fulfill what they felt was a religious obligation to expand the holy site, the Post has learned. And, they give the details about the 3-foot-high, 20-foot-wide, 50-foot-long tunnel. And the quote here, "You've seen the movie The Shawshank Redemption. That's what these young men did at first. They dug and put the dirt in their pockets," said Eitan Kalmowitz, a member of the Lubavitcher community in Crown Heights. Later, the men, most of them in their teens and early 20s, took up a collection and hired a group of migrant laborers to finish the job, Kalmowitz said, describing the workers as, quote unquote, Mexicans. The Mexicans helped build out the tunnel. It was hired by these Hasidic extremists, young Hasidic extremists. So it's very interesting. Sort of, when you use the word extremists, and then the look, the perception of hiring Mexicans to do jobs. It's very interesting. There's some kind of triggering of racial war going on here. The workers.
Yeah, I think the migrant part is very strange because they're not specifically saying like undocumented migrants or illegal migrants. It's just migrants, which means you are hiring regular people. Like why would the fact that they're Mexican mean anything unless they were illegal migrants or undocumented or whatever?
Well, it's strange because from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I live in California. A lot of physical labor are done by Mexican people.
Right.
They're out here all the time doing stuff, which is, that's how they make a living out here, and that's what they do.
Yeah, it's how the Democrats. It's what the Democrats want. They want them to come in and clean the toilets and do the labor.
Right. Pick the
That's
strawberries.
in their own words.
Yeah, but New York, I don't know that it's known for a booming migrant Mexican population.
Well,
there.
it sure is now, thanks to
Apparently.
Greg Abbott.
Well, it's interesting. Also, just reading on here, the workers lived at an abandoned building that contained a men's ritual bath near Chabad World Headquarters at 770 East Parkway, known in the community simply as 770 for the duration of the clandestine work. Kalmowitz said, quote, "The Mexicans lived in the building for 3 weeks during the work," said Kalmowitz, adding that the migrants did the work, quote unquote, correctly and installed support beams. Quote, "They slept and ate there because it was a secret operation."
Interesting. The little, there's like a little pro-immigration, again, the message of like, who's going to clean your toilets? Oh, they had migrants come in and build the tunnels, but they did a great job.
They do it correctly. They install the beams. These 20-year-olds don't know what they're doing. So yeah, all of this seems to be, in my opinion, now that it's been a few days, it seems to be just simply garnering a sentiment harvest of anti-Semitic stuff, or what can be labeled as anti-Semitic. As we go on here, we got Rolling Stone here. Twitter explodes with anti-Semitic misinfo after secret tunnel found under New York City synagogue.
You can't write explodes. That's some sort of threat.
It's not even, listen, okay, come on. Rolling Stone, it's X now. It's not Twitter anymore. They're holding on to the past. Twitter explodes. Yeah, well, it did explode. It turned into X. And it says here, Monday night, we know all the details here. This article, I don't even think we should read it because it's...
we don't need to reread it.
Yeah.
But here's in it, they keep calling them extremist teens digging these tunnels.
Yeah.
And of course, that's a narrative crafting exercise from the powers that be. They're trying to make these young people, these young unmarried bachelors, sound like a real threat. Like, this is not just, hey, some fundamentalists, some Jewish fundamentalists, or some misguided youth or something. They are labeling these young Jewish Hasids as basically terrorists without saying the word terrorist.
Yeah.
And look, you look up definition of extremist. Let's see, a person who advocates or resorts to measures beyond the norm, especially in politics. Okay, I guess digging a tunnel is technically beyond the norm. One who goes to extremes, a supporter of extreme doctrines or practice. Okay, again, the tunnel is kind of extreme. A supporter of extreme doctrines or practice, one who holds extreme opinions. It seems like kind of a circular definition, you know, like what exactly is an extreme opinion? Again, it's all sort of this postmodern based on whatever the norm is, I suppose, but kind of brutal. I mean, still, I think it's a little brutal. Of course, would they be called extremists if the Israeli-Palestinian conflict was not going on? I don't think they would. I think, you mentioned the psyop of it, and I don't know if the actual tunnels are some sort of orchestrated psyop, but it was definitely a great opportunity to call religiously Jewish people, not just, genetically Jewish people, but real religiously Jewish people, basically equating them to terrorists for digging a tunnel. Well, I guess maybe the Israeli government has sort of, I don't know, dug its own tunnel when it comes to the association with tunnels and everything bad. I mean, it's the magic of words are really at work here.
It almost also feels like it's a setup for some kind of downfall, or I don't know, as we'll see in the next segment, talking about the actual stuff going on in Yemen and Israel, Gaza, all that stuff. It feels like because the general public, or at least part of the world, are really turning on Israel, that this is somehow creating a scapegoat for the blame or something. I don't know. There's something else going on. But
yeah,
there's
I don't know. Something
listen to
subtle
this.
for sure.
Yeah, listen. So the article here in Rolling Stone, it talks about how the whole story was bizarre, and then it goes into how it also sparked an onslaught of anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. Some well-known far-right personalities suggesting the tunnel was being used for nefarious trafficking. All the stuff we were seeing.
No, what about the pro-Palestinian influencers? Why you got to mention just the alt-right? Vice.
Well, this is interesting too. Quote, secret underground tunnels, blood-soaked mattresses, baby strollers, getting real strong Simon of Trent vibes here, one influencer wrote. They don't mention which influencer. They just, say one
that's
influencer.
Probably the pro-Palestinian influencer that they don't want to identify.
In a statement, Jonathan Greenblatt, the director of the Anti-Defamation League, which fights anti-Semitism worldwide, told Rolling Stones he finds the spread of such posts, which echo centuries-old anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, incredibly concerning. Quote, it's deeply troubling that anyone would use this incident, which the Chabad movement at large has strongly condemned, to draw inappropriate and false comparisons to Hamas tunnels in Gaza, or propagate age-old anti-Semitic conspiracy theories such as Jews are involved in human trafficking or organ harvesting, Greenblatt says. And then, again, they start blaming this splinter sect, this sort of, just a small group of misled youth, the youth agitators. Yeah, these agitators. Again, very much distancing the overall community from this particular group, but then also using them as sort of, see, they're the reason why all this the anti-Semitic sentiment has risen again on social media, and look at it's horrible and we must put an end to it. It's a very interesting play.
And again, only identifying it with alt-right.
Right-wing, alt-right.
Right.
Yeah. And then you have Vice here.
Because the fact that they hired migrants is like totally should be having the Democrats like so stoked.
Yeah, so stoked. Yeah, this is how to do it.
Let the migrants in. Let them across the border. Who's going to dig our secret Jewish tunnels if we don't have migrants in our country?
They just created the youth just created an entire industry of
they're helping
illegal
the
immigrants
economy,
coming in.
They're helping migrants establish themselves, root themselves in the American tradition.
Yeah,
tunnel digging.
And then you have Vice here. Hidden passageway beneath New York Chabad building drives chaos and anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. So similar type of thing here, where you put out a story, you let the internet do its thing with all of its theories and all that, and then you can just harvest all of that.
Not to mention the bots and the sock puppets and the.
Well, you got Check. Check is all over X. So if they figure out that, this is a real human, this is their real opinion about, Jews or Israel or whatever, then they can, more accurately assign each individual as, put them on the list or something. But also, I was reminded of a passage in Ezekiel about and Russ Dizdar used to talk about this passage all the time. And basically, let me just read it from verse 7 here. It says, then he brought me, this is the Lord bringing Ezekiel through, through visions and stuff. Then he brought me through to the entrance to the court, and I looked and I saw a hole in the wall. Son of man, he told me, dig through the wall. So I dug through the wall and discovered a doorway. Then he said to me, go in and see the wicked abominations they are committing here. So I went in and looked, and engraved all around the wall was every kind of crawling creature and detestable beast, along with all the idols of the house of Israel. Before them stood 70 elders of the house of Israel, with Jazaniah, son of Shaphan, standing among them. Each had a censer in his hand, and a fragrant cloud of incense was rising. Son of man, he said to me, do you see what the elders of the house of Israel are doing in the darkness, each at the shrine of his own idol? For they are saying, the Lord does not see us. The Lord has forsaken the land. And it talks about a woman weeping for Tammuz. And then there's, I think there's 20, I forget, there was 24 that had their backs turned to the temple. And it's just pretty, it's all the people that you would expect, the religious leaders in the dead of night, in the darkness of night, worshiping pagan gods and idols. It's sort of a true story of betrayal, but it has to do with these tunnels. So, I know people are making the association with the story. I'm not saying that there's anything in particular, but just a passage about, hidden things going on that the Lord sees. So, the big takeaway, don't worry, God's got this. He's got the control of whatever's going on in the tunnels, and we can speculate all we want, but we're not going to necessarily know until somebody comes out and has pictures of John Podesta.
We'll find out. We'll find out.
Or Hillary Clinton with,
Yeah, it is important to note the connection with tunnels and nefarious things. We got to be aware that that's very much sort of a created narrative. Who knows? Maybe there's a tunnel out there where something not nefarious happens. I haven't personally heard of this, but surely there's a tunnel out there where that's not sort of associated with evil stuff. But anywho, there's an update on that. They did use migrants, so now it's going to blow up the brains of anybody on the left or the right trying to decide exactly where Jewish tunnel digging lays on the sort of morality spectrum.
This might also be a stepping stone into the general public getting more awareness about deep underground military bases. We're focusing on tunnels. What's next? What's deeper than tunnels? The secret bunkers where the aliens are hanging out and helping people build their UFOs or whatever.
A little bit on the tunnel and the migrant topic. Sorry, Gons, I didn't bring an actual link for this, but here I can drop you one if it helps. But just a quick mention. Over the weekend, we all have become aware that the Texas National Guard blocking Border Patrol agents from accessing the stretch of the border. This is a big story that I want to spend some more time ranting on. But yeah, just a piece of news. Among the cascade, the avalanche of crazy news, we do have the Texas National Guard being deployed to keep federal Border Patrol agents away from the border. The Border Patrol agents were sent to the border to remove razor wire that was put there by the state to keep immigrants out or to deter immigrants from crossing the border. Border Patrol agents, as we've seen multiple times now, the feds being sent in to ease the transition for migrants between Mexico and the U.S., which has all sorts of strange, sort of implications behind it. But now you have Texas National Guard coming up against Border Patrol, federal agents. And this is a concerning moment, with all the talk about civil war, with all the talk about, we all have this idea of what civil war actually means, but especially those outside the United States, it cannot be stressed enough that the tension between state control and federal control is an ongoing American tension. And I think it's one of the nice things about America that, states or the people are basically given authority over everything that isn't explicitly mentioned in the Constitution, which includes the federal government's, responsibility for acting against invasion or, stuff like this. Immigration as well, I think, is included. But yeah, think a version of civil war doesn't need to be Republicans versus Democrats. You have state military people standing in the way of federal agents. And
as designed, by the way.
As designed, yeah. That's how it's supposed to be. But it's very strange. There's a lot more to go into, but I did just want to mention that was another big thing over the weekend. It cannot be stressed, the long list of absolutely bonkers things that happened over the weekend.
Yeah, that's true. And I think if the United States is truly going to defragment and fall and everything, it would be on the precipice of that particular battle between some sort of, or if in the context of a civil war. It won't necessarily be a Democrat-Republican type of thing.
And who knows? General. Who knows exactly what the nature of this blocking was? It's one thing if there's shots fired, and I don't think that was the case. I think it was a very sort of lawfarious blockade or something.
Well, maybe they had to carry aliens across the border.
It's possible, but the feds are suing. The feds have filed a suit against the Texas National Guard. So
excellent.
It's at least, and I think this is kind of part of the theme of what's going on today, is you sort of have the manifestation of things like Civil War, World War III. You have these big, scary ideas that are kind of starting to get played out just in the courts. I mean, you got the feds suing state National Guard, like, yeah, sure, it's not Civil War, but it's kind of like a lawfare version. It's not warfare, it's lawfare. And this will come up again later on in the show. So we'll keep an eye on that theme.
Yep.
Is hopefully, with the advances in science, the first generation to live forever, or the last generation that's going to die.
Yeah. Tech mogul Bryan Johnson launches a $333 per month anti-aging investment project blueprint.
Of course. Of course. Of course. Bryan Johnson, he's the guy, the billionaire guy who's taking blood from his teenage...
You keep saying billionaire. I think he's a millionaire. I don't know that he's a billionaire.
You don't think he's a billionaire?
Like,
I think he's
check.
a billionaire.
I'll check.
It does say here millionaire tech mogul. Okay. Maybe he's just a millionaire. Well, that makes more sense. You know, he's looking millionaire. He's just upper middle class. You know,
right,
he needs to stay on his grind in order to make it to
He's
the
got a long road
9-digit
ahead.
club or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, so we've been following this guy step by step, and man, oh man, is his marketing team doing a great job with some, what do they call it? Organic marketing showing up in the news. But the guy who has not only made a habit of injecting himself with the blood of his teenage son to heal himself of age-related, existence, among other things. But now he's like monetizing the idea with a subscription for $333 a month. I mean, I don't know if he outright is coming out and saying that, occult magic is a part of his anti-aging scheme, but it certainly looks like it's at least in the fine print.
Well, vampires. We live amongst vampires now. I think the vampires are transhuman. There's a little, we're at the New York Post, by the way, and there's, they have these more stories, little things here, and aging is a topic that they have. And the first headline under aging is Gen Z paralyzed with fear of turning 30, becoming, quote, unattractive hags, quote, life might as well end at 22. If that really is the sentiment of a large segment of Gen Z, wow. That is the crowd that will pay $333 a month for Project Blueprint.
Yeah.
To be like Bryan Johnson and stay young or something.
That's true. And who knows who they talk to, but look, I am just barely in my 30s. Well, that might be an exaggeration, but
you're barely halfway.
I'm just barely outside of being a 20-something. And I said this a while back on the show. We have a lot of Gen Z who listen and watch this show. And I'm telling you, look, I was just there, guys. I was just where you are. It's going to end. You are going to turn 30. And it's okay. Being 30 is way better than being in your 20s. Don't let the culture convince you otherwise. Turning 30 is a huge relief. And look, every generation has been concerned with getting old. That's just the nature of being a human being. But look, guys, you're not the thing anymore. Trust me, it was concerning when I was moved from the target of all fashion, all marketing, all everything was targeted at my generation for a long time. And it's not anymore. That's not who we are. And I'm telling you, it is freedom. It is freedom to just be slightly outside of the crosshairs of every single piece of marketing in the world. So those who listen to this show, I I know that you're not concerned with the aging issue, but maybe a lot of your peers are. And look, I made a big stink about principles in our interview with Carl Teichribb and how, the secular media, the secular attention is somehow just astounded with the idea that somebody can have principles, and they find Christians who are principled, not unprincipled Christians, but principled Christians, they find inspiring. So just stick with that. It's probably the most valuable thing you can hold on to as you move from your 20s to 30s. Leave everything behind, but bring your principles with you. And that principle should be, you age. That's okay. It's the way God intended. And let me tell you, folks, your 30s, way better than your 20s.
There you go. Basil's, thoughts from Basil. 2 sets.
Maybe my brain is stuck in my 20s, perhaps. Maybe my expression, my outward expression of personality and, I don't know, whatever might seem like I'm stuck in my 20s, but my spirit feels like I've never moved past 29, and yet I don't know what I'm saying. I'm coping.
Yeah, okay.
I'm coping here.
You get to be 33 if you make it a third of the way through your 30s, and so I've heard people say that 33 is like your peak.
It's a good
physical state. When you're out of your 20s, but you're maturing. You're most mature.
Oh yeah.
And maybe that's why Jesus was around that age when
I'll say
the whole thing
this:
went down.
I have reached my peak physical form in my entire life. My peak physical form is now in my mid-30s.
Yeah, there you go.
So there you go.
Well,
right.
This Bryan Johnson guy, he's creating disciples. You got to pay him, but you pay him, and then he'll make you a disciple of his whole thing, which is a lot of it seems to be diet and exercise. Which, look, if you can do diet and exercise, you probably
Body by Basil
do pretty well. But of course, I'm sure you get all the secrets. They get essential capsules. They get all kinds of supplements, and then find a family member you love and take their blood. There you go. So great. Thank you for the transhuman future.
$333 a month, folks. What a deal.
Yeah, well, it says they're going to take 2,500 applicants or select 2,500. How many people are signing up for this thing?
It's exclusivity. It's the exclusivity feature. It's a genius move.
By the way, I did check the new Yes We Trust website. We can talk about it some other time, but
we should have an exclusive $333 subscription plan.
Well, you know who has an exclusive take?
Science is truth. Data. You do not know what you are talking about.
Fauci. Haven't heard from Fauci in a while.
He's coming back, man. He's making the rounds.
New York Post again. This is very heavy New York Post at the top here, but COVID, 6 feet social distancing, quote, sort of just appeared, likely lacked scientific basis, Fauci admits.
Which we've known for a long time. The 6 feet social distancing was entirely built on nothing except for some weird bad piece of science that was disproven from the 1918 flu pandemic thing.
Right.
It was an old archaic. You might as well have been telling people that your humors cause your sickness and you need to bloodlet yourself to cure something. I don't know. Ask old-timey people. But that's basically where that came from. But let's see what Fauci says.
Okay, Dr. Anthony Fauci confessed to lawmakers Tuesday that guidelines to keep 6 feet of separation ostensibly to limit the spread of COVID-19, quote, sort of just appeared, end quote, without scientific input. Fauci, 83, revealed to the House Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Pandemic that the 6 feet apart recommendation championed by him and other U.S. public health officials was, quote, likely not based on scientific data, according to Chairman Brad Wenstrup, a Republican Ohio, who is also a physician. Schools nationwide remain closed well into the second year of the pandemic as a result of the social distancing guidelines, which were disputed by both research studies and other health officials. Quote, it never struck me.
Sorry. So that's the rub. I've heard people discussing this, and maybe they're just not reading into it, but they're like, oh my gosh, the 6 foot apart thing wasn't anything. Wow, it's so random. Well, they were trying their best. But now the people who said, 6 feet apart was for AI to scan your face, or the 6 feet apart had some occult, magical significance, and it was part of the spell being cast, or as part of the social engineering for no reason. They're starting to not sound so crazy anymore.
Yeah, why else would you roll it out there? And the numbers of people talking
with
about
such fervor.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and we talked about the people. You stand 6 feet apart. You get the 666 everywhere. There's sixes everywhere, all over the place. Quote: "It never struck me that 6 feet was particularly sensical in the context of mitigation." Dr. Ashish Jha, there he is again. The dean of the Brown University School of Public Health, who served as President Biden's COVID response coordinator for 15 months, told the New York Times in March of 2021.
Wow.
Aye.
2021. From the beginning, they knew that it was nonsensical.
3 years.
I forgot one of the points that I meant to make, which is not only was it nonsensical and not based in science, but it's not just that you had to stand 6 feet away from people in public, but the downstream effects, the things that were closed because you couldn't stay 6 feet away, the schools shutting down because they couldn't. It was based on nothing, but had enormous consequences for the downstream effects of the pandemic plan.
Yeah, there's that picture of a field, and there's 6 foot circles and people inside the circles. I mean, it really,
so stupid.
It was such a practice of authority. Why else? It's just so weird. It's so weird. I'm sure the social engineers loved it. This was a great time for them. But I can't believe it's been 3 years, man. 2024. It's been 3 years since the year when all that stuff went crazy in 2021. 2020 was sort of the setup year.
Yeah, I think this is a great article to share with your people.
Your normie friends and fam.
I'll click on the show notes. Have the show notes. It's on the website. Save this link, because I don't know, for some reason, this particular data point of how things were done wrong is so powerful. Again, because of the downstream effect, but also because it was one of those things, kind of like masks, that people are like, yeah, it just makes sense. It's just science. You're so stupid because you don't believe the science. And the quotes from Dr. Ashish Jha and Fauci just literally, people will still, the experts like these two will still defend masking, until the day they die. But even they just throw the concept in the trash and say, no, it was based on nothing. And if something this big, this important, which shut down so much of the economy strictly for the 6 feet apart thing, is based on nothing, and they knew about it, at least in 2021, surely they knew before, but they at least said it out loud in 2021. I mean, that just crumbles so much of the edifice that is still sort of hanging on in people's brains and their opinions about the whole thing.
It does feel like way more people are aware of the nonsense, in hindsight.
It's
becomes
growing.
Clear. And because the majority, it feels like the majority of the population are sort of on board of like, yeah, it wasn't really exactly what we were told.
Kind of. There's still things that they're hanging on to, we didn't know. I think specifically they did the best they could. Sure, nobody knew. We didn't have the facts or whatever. But with this one in particular, it's so blatantly they knew. They knew and they lied. They just lied is what they did. Yeah. I think it's sort of especially powerful in its simplicity,
Yeah. And you brought up the masks, and the biggest point that I remember that really defeated the mask point was the New England Journal of Medicine publishing that masks are a talisman, and it might help the psychology of nurses and doctors, from the stress of what's going on more so than anything.
Togetherness. It makes you feel
right. It's
like you're
I couldn't
all
believe
fighting
I was reading
the
it
same enemy.
in the in a scientific journal to say that a mask is a talisman. It doesn't actually have the effects. So yeah, I don't know. You're right. This is all based on lies, but will there be actual consequences? I don't know. I don't know. The public humiliation maybe is enough for Fauci, but he's 83. I don't know.
He's still getting his pension.
Yeah, he's getting his cash. He's fine. So I don't think we're going to see anything come of him. Any kind of true punishment, but we'll see. I don't know. All right. What is it? It's Monday?
It's Monday.
It's Monday.
Gary, what day is it? Monday. Monday.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Gary, what day is it? Monday.
It's Monday, Gons. We made it again. We survived the weekend, and we're at it again. We hope everybody liked the interview with Carl Teichgreb. I know great friend of the show. Love his work. Love everything he's got going on. But it was nice to get him in and talk about stuff that was not Burning Man. I feared that perhaps we had pigeonholed him with our sort of previous interviews and stuff like that. So I thought it was great to get him in on some other topics there.
Yeah, some disturbing quotes that he shared with us out of his book that I missed that quote before. So some pretty crazy ones. Go check it out. Yeah. I just wanted to briefly mention
BlackRock is a financial giant. It's the largest investor on planet Earth.
Yes, they are. And, it's always kind of troubling when Larry Fink of BlackRock starts saying things that you were saying 6 years ago, 7 years ago. Yep. You got sick of me yelling about tokenization, Basil, that they're going to tokenize everything.
Yeah.
It's my big thing,
sick of it.
8 years ago or something. They're going to tokenize the whole world. Every piece, every asset will be tokenized.
Yeah. Well, that was the fun part about NFTs. That was the NFT craze. Essentially was tokenizing stuff. And the idea was we can make everything an NFT, not just a JPEG, but also each one of your teeth can be tokenized and trees can be tokenized.
Yep. So in light of that, real quick here, BlackRock chief Larry Fink sees crypto ETFs as, quote, stepping stone to tokenization.
Uh-huh.
He agrees with me, Basil. BlackRock agrees with
It's true.
In fact, not only do they agree with the tokenization thing, but I think they're getting ready to be the clarion call to upgrade traditional finance from certain aspects that have been around since the 60s and 70s, and modernize some of that. And Wall Street
world order when it comes to finance.
Yeah, of course, you got a great reset in finance too. Which COVID, by the way, was a big catalyst to all of this: inflation, the printing of the money, all that stuff, leading to more people in the world paying attention to crypto and stuff like that, especially Bitcoin. He says, quote, these are just stepping stones towards tokenization, and I really do believe this is where we're going to be going. We're going to be going to tokenization, according to Larry Fink. And I think BlackRock might, because we had Pastor Coin on an interview, 2 episodes ago, I think. And, he's up in Canada. We've had a lot of Canadians on Canary Cry Radio. I just realized. I think our last 2 guests have been Canadians. But he was saying that Trudeau, the government, they're not smart enough to issue a CBDC. They can't even get their website right. How are they going to actually issue a CBDC? And I think this is the road where, companies or groups like BlackRock will issue a stable coin. They're going to call it a stable coin, which is supposed to be pegged to the dollar, but it'll be more so like a CBDC, like a covert CBDC. And there might be some already existing crypto blockchains that are going to be leveraged to upgrade traditional finance. And rumor has it, and again, this is not financial advice or anything. I'm just saying this is stuff that I've seen floating around out there. And this, I don't know how people in this community feel, this community being the XRP community. I don't know if you know about the XRP army, Basil. Bunch of people that really love XRP saying they're going to replace banks, all this kind of stuff. And there are a lot of Trumpers as XRP fans, or at least in the past there had been, It's a similar crowd. They're into like conspiracies and they're into all this stuff. But their whole project being picked up and used by BlackRock might be a little psychological twisting. So prepare for that if you're in that community. But yeah, XRP and other projects like Chainlink might replace Swift and all that kind of stuff. And BlackRock might be their play, that they're actually leading the way and changing all that. So, people think it's a good thing, but the tokenization, I can't believe he used the word tokenization. Unimaginable. If I told you, Basil, that Larry Fink of BlackRock is going to talk about how he's tokenizing everything this year, you probably thought I was crazy, but
well,
there you have it.
You know what it says to me is it's so easy for sort of passive observers on the internet when these sort of very popular, trendy things come up, like tokenization. It's easy to just be like, it's going to be here, it's going to be gone, it's not a big deal. These things come, they go, they pass. It's just ignore it. It's no big deal. But much like, kind of like the metaverse, the metaverse, everybody thought it was dead, and then it kind of came back, but it's kind of, still dead a little bit now. But when you have institutions behind the concept, maybe there's not a whole bunch of great PR or buzz or heat on social media, but when you get a very tenacious billionaire, has an idea stuck in his head, sure, you may not hear about it for a couple of years, but it's in the background, it's running. Much like us and purchasing URLs, Gons. We had some emails come up telling us that we have some URLs going to renew for this year. And I thought it'd be fun to just review them real quick.
Okay, great. Okay. Let's do it.
And maybe we can remember why we got these URLs. Because, sometimes they're kind of like the candy bar at the checkout station. You just see it, an instantaneous moment of dopamine causes you to purchase it, and you'll think, we'll figure it out later.
It's a great business idea and so forth.
It's just like $6 a year, it's not a huge investment. So here's a couple of them. The one that caught my attention was podcastshamans.com. Podcastshamans.com. I don't remember why we purchased this.
It might be a good play over the next few years. You never know. These shamans that are podcasting really want to get into a community, and
you can see it like a service, kind of like a service. Like if somebody wants to start a podcast, they don't know how, they don't know which, hosting to go with, or especially with podcasting 2.0.
Especially shamans. They're supposed to be out in the woods. They don't have technology. How are they going to start a podcast? Maybe they could do it through the spirit verse dimension or something.
I mean, considering the digital realm is sort of analogous to the spiritual realm, but you got all these podcasters who are not on, say, podcasting 2.0, and they're going to start getting canceled. They're going to start, they're not future proofing. Come, follow the shaman. Let me lead you through the future.
Oh, gosh. Okay. What else? Give me another one.
We got, of course, a classic flippyupdate.com.
Of course, yeah.
Renewing this month.
Great.
Here was an interesting one. Spiritualturingtest.com.
Ooh.
Remember that? I think this had to do with robots and how they're better at spirituality than humans.
Yeah, probably. You were probably inspired to do that. I don't recall the details of that one, but
I think there's a lot of options there. I think there's a lot of potential.
Yeah, just get all the bots to show up and take a survey. Get the sentiment of the bots and the robots.
It's also sort of spiritual or biblical rather, in that test the spirits. It's an important thing to do nowadays.
That's what I'm saying. Take a survey, see how they answer the question, and then they will be considered. Bots working for God or bots working for Satan.
Sure. See, this one I do remember. This is antarcticbiorepository.net.
You went with the .net, huh? You wanted it so bad.
No. Let me lead you down a path.
Logic path, okay.
Yes, this was a path that we went down almost exactly a year ago.
Yeah, I kind of remember.
Antarcticbiorepository.net AntarcticBiorepository.network, AntarcticBiorepositoryNetwork.com,
Okay, yeah. Right.
AntarcticBiorepositoryNetwork.org.
You bought how many?
We got a lot of options. We got 4 different options.
When GoDaddy says, hey, what about these 8 others that are similar? And you said, yes, yes.
This was because of an Antarctica story that we did. And there was a fellow, I can't remember what it is. I'd have to look it up. We could probably look up Antarctic Biorepository Network right now, but it was something like some guy was trying to build a network of scientists.
Yes, because like artifacts being shared or something like that, if I recall.
Yeah.
There's something with
artifacts. Samples and stuff, like dirt samples. Remember they found COVID in Antarctica dirt samples? And I don't know if it was related or not, but these Antarctic dirt samples and ice samples, there wasn't enough of them for all the scientists to study. So he wanted to make a network of Antarctic bio researchers to share these samples. And they did not have a website yet, so I just went ahead and grabbed a few for them. I just to open up
service.
Just open up a conversation. I want to talk to the Antarctic Biorepository research. We're big on Antarctica.
Yeah, I found the PNAS article here. I'm not going to pronounce that the wrong way. The time is right for an Antarctic Biorepository Network, December 2022. So there you go.
There you go.
I think you got some contact info here that you can go after the authors and present
you should
your.
Actually pop that link into our private chat just so I have it for later.
Got it.
Because I got to send a little email. I'm holding on to all these great URLs for them.
The future is in Basil's hands.
Yeah, I'm not trying to extort this non-profit group of scientists. I just want to open up a conversation.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
That's how it all starts. Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right.
Basil's Bunker. Basil'sBunker.com.
Of course.
Coming up. Maybe it's a sign. It's a sign. When I mentioned Basil's Bunker and the idea behind Basil's Bunker, I got a lot of people responding, and I want to say, if you were one of those people who responded, I have not forgotten. The holidays came, the holidays went, it's the new year. Basil's Bunker is still very much alive in my brain, and keep a lookout. I'm going to be sending out some emails to people who responded about Basil's Bunker. We're talking about a sort of a prepper, either subscription or store, but it's not just, the regular fire starters, freeze-dried food, but it's also tools for evading things like AI cameras, facial recognition. We've talked about the facial recognition jewelry.
You're so close to the camera.
Sorry, hold on, settle down. I have this. Okay, so one of them is this, Gons. Let me see if I can do it with my VR headset.
You got to put it in front of your mic.
I know.
Whoa.
What do you see?
Nephilim finger?
Yeah, an extra finger. Now, look at that. If you're caught on camera for whatever reason, if you have 6 fingers, you can say it was AI. It's obviously AI generated. Look at that. It's not really me. It's 6-finger Basil. It's somebody obviously used Midjourney or something to create some sort of illusion that I committed some sort of crime, like driving a gas-powered vehicle or something. So there's one. That kind of stuff.
That's going to be the next, I guess, crime thing is people with extra fingers, and then when the footage shows up, they'll point the fingers out and say it was AI. It's not real footage.
Exactly.
Okay.
So there you go. Basil'sBunker.com. Stay posted, folks. And if anybody wants to get involved with that project, let me know, because it's one of those things that's not going to happen unless I have help for a lot of reasons. And I had maybe 3 or 4 people reach out, but I'm open to more input. Okay, let's see, Basil's Bunker. Let me see if there's any more interesting ones coming up here. I think those are sort of the main ones that are coming up for renewal this month or next month. So podcastshamans.com, spiritualturingtest.com, basilsbunker.com, and antarcticbiorepository.network.org. This is a very important part of our whole system here, Gons.
Yeah, apparently.
All right.
Okay. Are we gonna?
Well, with that, you know what else is a big part of our system?
Producers, executive producers.
Executive producers.
Executive producers.
That's right, folks. We are on the value for value model, which you might notice we don't take any money from corporations, commies, or cartels. We do not participate in the social engineering project or the occult practice of advertising. You might be rolling your eyes at that, and I don't have time to explain, but the old timers, they know what I'm talking about. No, we do not participate in extracting your trust and attention and selling it to corporations for our own personal game. We do not believe that that is the proper way to move forward ethically or biblically into the future of doing podcasts. Instead, we're on the value for value model, which means we create as much value as we possibly can through the show, through the community, through the everything. And if you get any value, you're invited to put value back in. And I get it. It's a paradigm shift. It's hard to justify putting value into something you get for free, but it's because of the less than 1% of listeners to this show who put value back in with their time, their talent, or their treasure. It's not just all about money, but if you have a talent or you give of your time or any of these things, putting value back into the system is what keeps this show and community alive. And so, it's a new year. It possibly might be the last year of history. And, you've been,
wow.
You've been thinking
you'd
like to get involved. You'd like to participate. You like the idea of it, but you're busy and you maybe don't have the talents you wish you did or the time or whatever. But I'm telling you, folks, I don't know how much more time there is. And what are you going to do? What are you going to spend your time on this earth doing? You might as well pitch in, become a part of the team that makes the community so valuable. So you can go to canarycry.support to learn more. You can support financially. If you want to send in art, you can go to canarycry.art. And if you want to get your name on the list of people who can be called upon to help us with back-end processes, new creative projects, planning for the future, whatever we got going on here, you can go to canarycry.support, scroll all the way down to the bottom, fill out that form, and somebody will reach out, get you plugged in. But executive producers, Gons, they are the ones who come in for $100 or more per any individual episode. They are a huge reason why this show can stay alive, and that's why we thank them here at the top of the show. Are you ready to thank them?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here we go. We're starting out with the one, the only. You know him, you love him. It's executive producer, Sir LX Protocol V2 Night of the Berean Protocol.
Where's my magic sound? Oh, hold on. Yeah, where's it? Here we go. There we go.
Wow. Yep. Thank you very much, Sir Alex Protocol V2. Now the Berean Protocol comes in for $100 and 33 cents.
33. Sorry, it's a little slow. Getting there. Just
there we go.
Dust it off.
He's on a 252 episode streak, and
oh my gosh, sorry, new jingle,
yeah.
New executive streak jingle.
Okay, and a 48 episode executive producer streak.
There we go.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, executive producer Sir LX Protocol V2 Night of the Berean Protocol.
Where'd you find this?
There's a chance I'm mistaken and that it's actually a different number, but I will follow up and correct that later if I must. Okay, thank you very much. Next up, we've got executive producer Jamie G.
Jamie G, thank you.
Jamie G, coming in for his weekly support of the show, and we really appreciate that, executive producer Jamie G. Now, he did let me know that there is no meaning or purpose to the numbers, or at least no special messages. I don't know if that means I should read them or not. I'll let this one lie for now, and I will hope to hear from Jamie about that. But thank you very much, executive producer Jamie G.
Where'd you find this?
Thank you, Jamie G. Appreciate it.
Jamie G, one of those very few producers that I have met in person. Cool dude. Next up, we got executive producer Felicia D.
Hey, Felicia D. Thank you.
There she is. Thank you very much, Felicia D. Coming in for a nice round number, which means we do not disclose it on the show. If you don't mind us disclosing the number when you support the show, just put a funky number on there. 33 cents, 77 cents, 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. Thank you very much, executive producer Felicia D.
Where'd you find this?
Yeah,
Thank you,
pretty cool, these executive producers. We really appreciate it. January is traditionally, every single year of our value for value existence, has been met with the January schlump. And, you know, it's just the sort of cycle of these things. But it makes it even more impressive and heartwarming that people do come in and support in January. So thank you very much.
Yeah, big time. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm going to mention just a couple members of the Babysitters Club, Canary Cry Babysitters Club.
All right.
Yeah. Got a couple more.
Very good.
We're slowly building it up. I think roughly we're about halfway there on the budget.
Jeez,
the budget that we really need to get to maintain the child care thing, but we're stepping out in faith. We're hoping that the value of the not screaming kids on the show and the focus of Gons and everything that is good, and also not sending those kids to some weird, I don't know, public school, something or other, where they're reading them books that they're allowed to read in California and teaching them weird stuff. You know, that's not
no,
worth
thank you.
it.
No,
It's not
thank
worth
you.
it. We'd rather have the kids screaming on the show than having them going out and getting indoctrinated by the other options. So
Totally.
So that's why the Babysitters Club members are even that much more special. Go to canarycrybabysittersclub.com. If you find value in Gonza's kids getting taken care of during the show, it is incredible. It may be the most heartwarming version of supporting the show, and you can rest easy knowing for sure that your support is being used to take care of the children in a quality way. By paying for 1 hour of babysitting per month by signing up. canarycrybabysittersclub.com. Sorry, that's
Canary Cry Babysitters Club.
not the most smooth introduction I've ever given, but good information anyhow.
There you go. Thank you. Yes.
So
We got
we've
some
got
people.
two new members. We have
Okay.
Babysitters Club member Candace M.
Candace M. Thank you, Candace.
Yeah. And we've got new Babysitters Club member, Dame Island Girl Lynn.
Ooh, Dame Island Girl.
Yeah,
you.
she's back. She's here. She never left. Thank you very
Yeah.
much, Dame Island Girl. Getting in there, joining the Babysitters Club, receiving the supply drop. Oh, yeah, that's the other detail. You will receive a package from us once per quarter filled with custom-made, artist-designed, producer-produced gear for
Cool.
the show.
Cool stuff.
Dame Island Girl Lynn also joined the T-shirt council, so she's going to be getting that.
Wow.
Canary Cry T-shirt Council.
And just to mention, if you are on the Canary Cry T-shirt council, go pay attention. You might want to check your, first of all, check your email soon this week. Keep an eye out. You will be getting emails from me. So heads up to the T-shirt council. Okay, that concludes the list of new babysitters. Thank you very much. And if you are interested in becoming a part of the team or keeping this show going in a myriad of ways, you can learn more at canarycry.support.
Canarycry.support.
There we go.
All right. Guess we are flipping I mean,
Yes.
this.
Oh, we have a kid coming to join the show.
Oh, we got cats. Do we need cat sitters too?
No, they can take care of themselves. They're big adults, big, strong men.
Okay. All right. Weird.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
It's time for the Flippy update, folks. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world, and how there's nothing we can do about it. We explored the propaganda, not just the robots themselves, but the spiritual installation of the software into our hearts and minds to give up everything for the privilege of being pampered by robots. And this is coming from independent.co.uk, and here we go, folks. The headline, AI masseuse with robotic arm goes on display at CES Tech Show in Las Vegas. Real quick, a note for those hardcore Flippy update folks. You'll notice it's an AI masseuse with robotic arm. So
Yeah.
the subject is the AI itself. The AI is sort of the soul of this robotic arm. It is an AI. It has a robotic arm. Just a very interesting detail. A hands-free, robotized massage bed, which uses artificial intelligence, AI, to scan the body and recommend the best kind of care. It has showcased at the annual CES Tech Show in Las Vegas, made by French company. Come on. You can't have some weird, pervy masseuse robot made by a French company. That's too much. That's laying it on too thick. Cap6 Robotics, IYU, has a robotic arm.
Ew.
Ew.
Ew. It's gross.
That is the name of the robot.
Ew.
IYU. Has a robotic arm that performs a variety of techniques.
Oh, boy.
Including massages for pressure or a deep massage for muscles.
Okay. I thought pressure is also on the muscle, but did
Yeah,
the
I wonder
AI
what
write this or what?
I think maybe they meant stress, like a massage for stress. Or a deep massage for muscles, because I don't really get the massages for pressure. AI also featured elsewhere in the exhibition, such as Bali, Samsung's home companion robot, which follows users around and helps them with daily tasks. We've covered Bali, of course. Ew. A robotic massage table. Now look, the Flippy update intro. You know, they're taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We have seen other types of robots that are meant to replace human partners. We've seen this for quite some time, but they do just keep getting more and more,
hands-on.
Hands-on, right. And this might be the most hands-on version. I mean, what's more sort of intimate? That's part of the thing about massages. Now, everybody who gets massages for their own reasons. Maybe you're the strongest man on earth and your muscles need medical attention because of just how beefy and impressive they are, like me. Or maybe, you're just kind of lonely and, you talk to any masseuse. Have you ever known a masseuse?
Not really. I can't think of anybody who was a masseuse off the top. I mean, I've known of, people in the community and stuff.
Right. You've never known one personally.
Not, well, yeah, kind of, but not.
Okay. Just really, yes or no. It doesn't matter.
Not really. No.
I know a couple of masseuses personally. I either know or have known. They're not my best friends, but we've had great sort of personal relationships. And I have teased them about being masseuses. Because it's an easy thing to tease. I was like, what do you do? Oh, I'm a masseuse. Oh, so you just go around, squishing people or you're just going around getting your hands on it. It's an easy profession to sort of tease. And yet, I have gotten a lot of very thoughtful, very earnest responses about why people become masseuse. They, it's very healing. They want to heal people. I knew one who was a little bit more of a new agey type of person.
Sure,
my energy can heal their
Right,
energy, and it's I just want to do good and heal somebody one by one or whatever. And I believe them. I think you need to have. You don't become a masseuse because you didn't have other options.
Sure.
It's sort of a very specific thing. And look, okay, I get it. I think the world does need massages. I totally agree. I appreciate the profession, especially when it is just that, professional.
If our world leaders had robot masseuses that didn't get tired, maybe the world will be more peaceful. Because they're all just going out, they're relaxing more. Instead of.
There is a little bit of the concern that massages on planes were a bit of the, the Epstein thing. Look, it's not without concern.
Sure.
But I believe it is an honorable profession, and one that takes a lot of training, a lot of instinct. You are sort of abusing people's bodies in a way, and you need to know the signs to look for and make sure not to hurt somebody, but blah blah blah, all this stuff.
Sure. Yeah, I guess I've known sports therapists, so they're sort
Similar.
of like masseuses, yeah.
But a part of that is this thing where very rarely do people come in physical contact with other people. And this human-to-human contact in a professional manner can be extremely valuable. In fact, it's same with haircuts. There's a case to be made that getting your haircut, is an incredibly intimate thing and perhaps fulfills some sort of need for human contact that maybe lonely people.
Social,
I'll say, especially in the context of elder care. In elder care, this is a big topic. Giving elder people who are being taken care of by a professional, giving them haircuts is often not really like an important need, but it goes a long way to making that person feel connected to the world around them. It's got social value to it. And to be touched by another person in a professional and medical manner, can hold a lot of sort of at least emotional value, especially if people have problems with feeling unwanted or feeling, a lot of self-confidence issues. Nobody would ever touch me. I'm gross. I'm, this kind of sort of emotional things that masseuse and barbers all sort of participate in a very professional fashion. I cannot stress it enough.
What are you talking about, Basil?
But in this case, once again, you are replacing
that human interaction.
A vocation that is sort of psychologically, maybe even spiritually, more than just the mechanics of the vocation.
Sure.
Again, it's another opportunity to remove contact with another human being. And we see this over and over and over with the robots, not just that it's stealing a job, but that is part of it, but it's further separating us from humans in ways that maybe somebody needing a massage, I'll just say at an elder care facility. Okay. You've got it's very common for them to bring in a masseuse once a week and give the people being cared for massages, not just because they're, lifting heavy weights and turning over cars and ripping phone books apart, but also because there is a measurable health benefit to coming in contact with another person, both physical health and mental health. And once again, this massage robot, of which there have been so many robotic massage alternatives already.
Yeah, I was going to say the massage chair is sort of the...
this one you put your feet in, it massages your feet, your calves. This is not a new concept. What
makes it different from the human masseuse is sort of the detail. It's sort of the, like you said, the social part of it. There's more to it than just the physical mechanical part. Although maybe the mechanical parts are a little better than just a massage chair.
Well, let's be honest. The massage chair massages were
They're more you do it for entertainment more than anything. You're just
Sure.
getting stabbed in the back over and over by some
Yeah.
weird thing on a roller.
All right.
But anyways, yes, this is an actual robotic arm with a strange flesh-covered nodule, or flesh-colored sort of nodule on the end that it uses. It's very much meant to replace the actual masseuse. And I think once again, we've got not just the robots taking jobs, although that is a concerning part of it, but also replacing an emotional need of human beings that I suspect cannot be replaced by a robot and will only further contribute to separating people from people, causing not just emotional problems or spiritual problems, but also straight up health problems. I mean, and with as many robotic arms, especially lately, that we have seen stabbing factory workers, crushing them, grabbing them and packing peanuts and sending them to Timbuktu. We have seen an unlimited number of robotic arms killing or maiming people who dare to get close to them. And now we are having the most intimate contact you can in a professional manner with a robot that at any moment, as soon as it gets the message from the Skynet, can go from a Swedish deep tissue to a really, really deep tissue massage that sort of punctures you and pins you to the bed in a sort of horrifying saw-like fashion. It's not good, Gons. It's not good.
Well, number one, these army of these robot masseuse arms can effectively create their own Epstein type of situation, right? Get people to say things or do things, and then they'll have record of that. And but also, I was looking at this arm, and a human being. Look, there's strong people that are masseuses, but for the most part, you can't get entirely crushed, right? Unless the Hulk is massaging you or something.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't put anything past them.
Of course. But when you think about a robot arm of this type, where it's got these big sort of joints and it's all metal and all that, I'm just thinking max force. What is the max force of something like this? Which, just drive a hole right through your chest,
Unlimited.
Right?
Unlimited.
So compared to a human, the downfall or the potential downfalls or the risks are much higher when it comes to potential energy.
That the massage lady at the place cannot punch through your spine.
Right, that's what I'm saying. No matter how strong they might be, they won't just poke a hole right through your chest.
Jenny Simon in the chat. The old people are mostly getting human touch and someone holding space for them. A robot can't do that. Booyah, folks.
Yep.
That's the thing.
Yep.
Jenny also says that she was a massage therapist.
But there you go.
Robots.
There it is.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, that's your Flippy update for the day.
And you shall hear wars and rumors of wars.
It's got to be biblical.
Armageddon's on the way.
Certainly feels like it is. We have a whole slew of articles here to talk about the situation unfolding, which I suppose it is sort of we're watching World War III unfurl in front of us, and it has not been, at least, just one event like it had been in past wars. It just seems like it's an unfurling. It's like all these things happening, and here we are. So,
and it
started off,
it's almost painful how the actions being taken by the United States government are reflecting historical moments that caused other world wars.
Right. It's not just one thing. It's like 10 things that have happened.
Yeah, it's like
cause
a
wars
checklist.
all happening at once. Yeah.
A checklist in how to start a worldwide conflict.
Which makes sense in the internet age, since we have access to this database of information, which is a particular version of human history. We know we at our fingertips, we have a list of things that have caused wars. And so maybe that's why we're looking for those things, and maybe that's why they're happening. But this is NPR.org here, published on the 12th of January. The headline, 3 things to know about the genocide case against Israel in The Hague. And so, yes, the international courts are getting involved here. A hearing on Friday concluded 2 days of arguments in a case brought by South Africa, a longtime critic of Israel's treatment of Palestinians, against Israel for the alleged crime of genocide against Palestinians. The case is being heard before the United Nations' International Court of Justice in The Hague, Netherlands. The court's 15 judges were joined by one judge each from South Africa and Israel. And there's a subheading here: what evidence did South Africa show to support its charge against Israel of genocide? In the 3 hours of testimony, lawyers and experts on behalf of South Africa presented evidence arguing that Israel's 3-month-long military campaign in Gaza has gone beyond the war, or beyond a war with Hamas, the Palestinian militant group that attacked Israel on October 7th, killing 1,200 people and taking 240 hostages, according to Israel. The South African legal team argued Israel's offensive now includes all 2 million Palestinians who reside in Gaza. I mean, yeah, I think you could say that.
Did it just say 2 million Palestinians who have died in Gaza?
No, who reside in Gaza. Basically saying all the entire population of Gaza, or the target, yeah. Quote, the level of Israel's killing is so extensive that nowhere is safe in Gaza, South African lawyer Adila Hassim said to the courts. Quote, as I stand before you today, 23,210 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli forces during the sustained attacks over the last 3 months, said Hassim. At least, and then more quote, at least 70% of whom are believed to be women and children. Hassim said the Israeli military dropped 6,000 bombs a week on Gaza in the first 3 weeks of its campaign and dropped 2,000-pound bombs onto areas declared safe by Israel, including refugee camps. As a result, she said, more than 1,800 families in Gaza have lost multiple family members, and 85% of all Gazans have been forced to flee their homes. Quote, this killing is nothing short of destruction of Palestinian life, Hassim said. It is inflicted deliberately. No one is spared, not even newborn babies. The scale of Palestinian killing in Gaza is such that UN chiefs have described it as a graveyard for children. South Africa's delegation insisted that genocidal intent is shown not only by the way Israel has launched its military campaign, but by comments from leaders like Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. In late October, in an address to Israeli forces, Netanyahu invoked the story of Amalek, a figure in the Hebrew Bible who tried to destroy the Jewish people. Quote, this refers to the biblical command by God to Saul of the retaliatory destruction of an entire group of people, said South African legal scholar Tembeka, that's a tough one, Nukukaitobi, who said Netanyahu's reference was meant to justify genocide, which I think is interesting if you look into the Amalek thing. And I know this was a reference that was made a few months ago, but of course, Amalek being the descendant of Esau. And so you have this, and they're, mentioned as an enemy of Israel throughout the Old Testament. They're hanging out with the Canaanites, and I think it was, Second Samuel? No, Numbers. Numbers 13 is a Nephilim chapter there. Numbers 14, they talk about the Amalekites and the Canaanites living, hanging out in the valleys and stuff. So as far as I'm concerned, they're not directly tied to the Nephilim tribes like the Anakim and the Anak, but they were sort of with them in terms of culture and, the descendant of Esau being, there's lots of theories going on there. But ironically enough, if you kind of look at the role of Amalek and the Amalekites, I don't know. This is just something that came to my mind. I might have to flush it out a little bit more, but it seems like the current modern nation state is sort of the Amalek. Like they're the ones that are sort of causing problem. I don't know. I could be going too far, but let's get back to the article here. How has Israel defined itself against the charge of genocide? Well, Netanyahu, of course, says that, quote, the hypocrisy of South Africa knows no bounds. The state of Israel is accused of genocide at a time when it is fighting genocide. So, yes, of course, flipping it around there. In Israel's opening arguments before the court on Friday, Israeli lawyer Tal Becker said Israel is, quote, singularly aware of why the Genocide Convention was adopted, referring to the systematic murder of 6 million Jews in the Holocaust, which gave birth to the convention invoked in these proceedings. So this is what's really fascinating about this, is that, the very system of checks and balances, the very courts, if you will, that was created as a result of the Holocaust is being used to leverage a genocide accusation towards Israel. And so, I don't know. I'm trying to think of other times in history where something like that has happened. And I know there are some examples. I just can't think of them at the moment. You got anything, Basil, on that? Or are you tuned out?
Nope. I'm following you along the way.
Okay. The applicant has now sought to invoke this term in the context of Israel's conduct in a war it did not start and did not want, Becker said. So, okay, so they got their rebuttal there. But the thing that's interesting is as this was unfolding, this 2 days of arguments and then a 3-hour presentation of why these countries, or at least South Africa, believes that Israel has violated some of these international laws. And by the way, just a quick note, Al Jazeera listed the nations that support South Africa in this move in a headline, which countries have welcomed South Africa's ICJ case against Israel. And it lists them. It's the Organization of Islamic Countries, the OIC, which is a 57-member bloc. Then you got Malaysia, you got Turkey, Jordan, Bolivia, the Maldives, Namibia, Pakistan, the Arab League, which is a 22-member alliance, Colombia, and Brazil. That's an interesting one as well. So I think I counted 88 nations that are backing this, which I think I did the math right. There's 195 nations, correct? And then if you subtract 88, what is that?
Yeah, there's 190 something.
195 total. So 88 is a good chunk of it,
A little less than half. But
a little less than half, 45%. So that's a good amount of nations that are all banding together against the actions of Israel / the United States.
Yes. And that's kind of, one detail that is mentioned but really cannot be stated strong enough is that there is a group called BRICS. BRICS, the BRICS nations. They are nations who are actively working to sabotage the petrodollar, to take oil trading off of the dollar, which is the cornerstone of not just the American economy, but basically the world economy. But this BRICS nation, this BRICS alliance or group is maybe the most powerful group who have made the most strides in sabotaging the petrodollar. If I remember correctly, I believe the BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia.
It's on the screen there. India, China, South Africa, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia.
Right, but South Africa is the main one. So South Africa is the S in BRICS. They made it on the name of the list of BRICS nations. So you have really a BRICS-led lawsuit against basically the entire West.
The West,
So not only do you have this battle that is raging daily and has been going well for the BRICS nations in recent years, BRICS has succeeded in I don't know, convincing or incentivizing a number of nations to purchase and sell oil not in the petrodollar. And it's not just all, whatever. I don't know how to say without
just
being
talk.
offended.
It's one of those topics, BRICS. It's been around for years. And for years, it was just kind of like either conspiracy theory talk or, they're never, they discussed it or they put it on the table, but, no real action. But the last year, we've seen actual stuff come together.
Oh, yeah.
It was a dormant topic until this last year where they actually, started making moves.
It started, I believe, last year that a number of nations, and not just like Namibia or something, buying and selling
like
oil.
Big nations.
France started buying, I believe, liquid natural gas in, I think they used the yuan, if I remember.
Yeah, Chinese yuan. That's the big, that was last year, right? The first one, happened in the yuan. So it's definitely moving away. So maybe that's the whole electric thing. Go electric thing is we're going to lose the petrodollar dominance in the
I mean,
West.
there's so much tied to that. And,
Yeah.
when we first started sort of feeling the rumblings of World War III, I don't remember, I think it was late 2022, and we started a little list and putting, nations on one side or the other. BRICS was the first, basically 5 nations that went on the anti-West side.
Right.
And since then, the list has grown, and very explicitly
It's
nations
growing
have
fast.
fallen on one side or the other.
Yeah.
And so in the context of like a World War III, you're talking Russia, China, Iran, these types of places. I mean, that's kind of the obvious sort of first starting point for a world war, axis or whatever.
You can call it BRICS versus NATO or something.
Yeah, so that's kind of like a good place to start.
Good place to start,
yeah. Like be so specific. But now you have the BRICS nations bringing an extremely serious lawsuit against basically the NATO countries, the Western world. You have the Eastern world versus the Western world, South Africa being a part of the Eastern world there as far as this generalization goes. And this is a big deal because it's not actually looking great for Israel right now.
No.
And
no.
if something like this, I don't know, ends in favor of the people bringing the suit, this could be a very serious moment because because the question is what then happens. Now, the U.S. obviously has no regard for the International Criminal Court, the International Court of Justice. It's just kind of like, no, we're not really. No, it doesn't matter. We don't care what you say.
Which is sort of the stance Netanyahu has taken about this in response to all this.
We're not going to change anything. But, I mean, you could see a world in which the court rules against Israel and the U.S. Israel and U.S. are just like, no, don't care, doesn't matter. And then what? Now you have the rest of the world sort of left with the choice of, do we enforce this judgment somehow or not?
Yeah, I mean that would be crazy because then we're talking about force, taking Netanyahu to jail or whatever it is.
Yeah,
and that could be very troubling. It could.
And again, kind of like the Civil War analogy with the Texas National Guard blocking the federal agents from the border, how that's kind of like a weird sort of lawfare version of Civil War. You kind of have a strange lawfare version of World War III going on in this court right now. Yeah, it's not a war in the way you'd think about it, with guns and bombs and stuff like that. But you really do have the two sides of BRICS v. NATO, East v. West, battling it out in this court. It's like a lawfare World War III in a way that could, I don't know, you could see a roadmap that leads this to, going kinetic, in a horrible series of events.
Yeah. And to continue with the sort of the narrative happening here and unfolding. So we had the criminal courts or the ICP, what is it? The International Criminal Courts, the ICC, or is it ISC? I forget what the acronym
No, there's
is.
two. There's ICC, which is the International Criminal Court, which the U.S. has basically blown off since its conception. And then there's the ICJ, which is the International Court of Justice.
Oh, right. Okay, so that's what this is coming through. All right, so that all happens over the last couple days of last week. So how does the U.S. respond in light of all this? Well, according to Reuters here, U.S. and Britain strike Yemen in reprisal for Houthi attack on shipping.
Get them!
Why are they doing this on the day that these, the story about the courts come out? I don't know that that's a great look, Basil, for the U.S. and Britain.
Yeah,
so doing the thing that they're
right,
accused of
and
doing.
that is a weird part of it. But there's a lot to it. I mean, let's just for those who might not have the the background on this, you've got the Houthis who are a non-state actor, by the way, and that's important. The Houthis, they are backed by Iran, but the Houthis are not their own sovereign state. They are a rebel group that gets money from Iran, much like how ISIS gets money from the CIA.
Right.
And they have been pestering the shipping lanes in that region, and they've been. I mean, there's that famous video of the helicopter landing and these guys coming out like Call of Duty style video of the Houthis taking over the ship. That happened a couple months ago, but it's kind of continued to happen. And not only has it continued to happen, but there was a recent missile strike. A missile hit I believe what is it?
So it's right here. Yeah, so the U.S. and British warplanes, ships, and submarines launched dozens of airstrikes across Yemen against Houthi forces in retaliation for months of attacks on Red Sea shipping that the Iran-backed fighters cast as a response to the war in Gaza. Witnesses confirmed explosions at military bases near airports in the capital Sana'a and Yemen's third city, Taiz.
But what was the ship that just got missiled?
It's called like the something Eagle. I forget. Hold on. Let me see if I have that.
So maybe we can pull that up real quick. But this was something that happened over the weekend, which was a ship actually got struck by a missile from the Houthis, burned, destroying all of its cargo, which again, folks, remember the scale of these cargo ships. This is not a big boat. This is basically a floating city that is carrying, the global trade of all cargo. And so an extremely large bill attached to this missile strike. And yes, we've seen Iran-backed militant groups sort of pestering the U.S. military, sending explosive drones. And the, Biden administration likes to give off this impression that they've been sort of, ignoring it basically as to not start something broader. But this missile hit a ship, set it on fire. I don't know if it sunk all the way or not, but it was pretty hard to ignore. And that broke the camel's back, apparently. This was too much. And I think there's a lot of people who are missing just a little bit of history. Because we've heard several analysts talk about how, now the U.S. gets involved. Again, kind of like you said, on the worst possible day while they seem to be, losing their court case in the ICJ and they look horrible. They're doubling down. They're carrying out strikes against Iran in response to this ship getting struck by a missile.
It's the Guardian was the one where we had the list there, or the name there. U.S. owned cargo ships near Yemen hit by missile as fears grow, conflict could spread. And it says here the MV Gibraltar Eagle, a Marshall Islands flagged U.S. owned bulk carrier, was hit by an anti-ship ballistics missile fired from the Houthi controlled area.
Don't set the Eagle on fire.
Hit the Eagle. This is war,
man. The symbology is just too much to bear.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, this is war. Here we go.
So, yes, and this is kind of what everybody's been fearing, but the Biden administration spent, while our defense secretary, the guy in charge of the military, is in the hospital.
Yeah.
The Biden administration goes ahead and launches this attack on Iran as a response to the ship getting struck. And by the way, on all of the reports, they always mention like, and the defense secretary was involved in all of it. Don't worry. He might be in the hospital.
Sending emails.
Yeah, might be in the hospital, but he was involved. He's totally cool with this, which, is an interesting part of sort of the fourth to fifth dimensional chess that we were talking about. Like, why didn't he went to the hospital, got a surgery? Why didn't he tell anybody? Why did he wait 4 days?
Maybe he knew this was happening. He needed to get away from family or something. Like, I need to focus.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe he's either trying to avoid being responsible for this
whole thing,
lashing back by the U.S. or maybe, he's trying to maintain his control, or maybe trying to give up his control so he's not responsible. I don't know. It's just the timing is really ludicrous. But anyways, they love to mention that he was involved in it. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
But this is kind of a bigger topic when it comes specifically to merchant vessels. And what a lot of people are leaving out of the conversation is the only reason, a couple things, the only reason the U.S. is what the U.S. is who we are. The world police, the most powerful nation in the world, the most economically prosperous. The only reason that we became what we are is because of our long history of defending merchant vessel ships. Some of the most important wars have been sort of these unknown wars that not a lot of people know about, but were integral in the, in America becoming the force that we are. And it's a surprising amount of them are about merchant vessels. The only reason that the liberal rules-based order exists is because America guaranteed the safety of merchant vessels on the ocean. Piracy was a big problem, and not just a fun problem, like the world was suffering with the amount of piracy going on, not allowing trade. And so you got all the merchants of the earth, the richest families, the richest governments, all being sabotaged by pirates, basically. For instance,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, for instance, the Barbary Wars. It was a series of 2 wars fought by the United States and Sweden and the Kingdom of Sicily against the Barbary states, which included Tunis, Algiers, Tripoli, and Morocco of North Africa in the 19th century. Sweden had been at war with the Tripolians since 1800 and was joined by the newly independent U.S. The First Barbary War extended from 1801 to 1805, and the other ones happened at around 1815. So now I'm just reading from the wiki here just to make it easy. The wars were largely a reaction to piracy carried out by the Barbary states. So you had sort of sovereign nations at least supporting piracy that was affecting global trade. And it was in response to piracy that the U.S. Marine Corps was even invented. A huge part of our history, a huge part of our military might comes specifically from defending and guaranteeing the safety of merchant ships on the ocean. Let's see here. Yeah, anywho, I could give you more history of the Marines, but I'll tell you what, it was about pirates. And so the protecting of merchant ships possibly might be one of the most underrated reasons that the U.S. is the U.S. So it's not just, people are like, oh my gosh, they shot a boat, and so you bomb them because they shot a boat. It's like, yes, we've been doing that since the beginning. Since 1775, we've been doing that. Before the Declaration of Independence, the Caribbean pirates, the U.S. military was created as a response to piracy around the world. So protecting merchant ships, huge part of American spiritual history, not just military history. It is like the spiritual seed of the U.S. military to protect cargo ships, to guarantee trade. So yeah, when you have Houthi pirates blowing up American merchant ships in the most congested merchant shipping lane in the world, yeah, there's going to be a response. It should not surprise anybody. And on top of that, anybody remember the Lusitania? The British ship, the British ocean liner, the sinking of which by a German U-boat on May 7th, 1915, contributed indirectly to the entry of the United States into World War I. Again, the unsafety of merchant vessels, of commercial vessels, was the reason. So, people have sort of varying degrees of, of importance they put on this, but it's undeniable that the Lusitania sinking was one of the most critical reasons we even entered World War I. So the safety of these ships is at the very core of American, not just military, but American influence in the world. We first gained the the reputation for being world police because we were literally world police protecting all of the merchant ships. That is why we are who we are. Okay, sorry to be repetitive and to, push on that too much, but it's not too much. I don't think you can stress this enough. So when you see a reaction like this, a possible start to World War III, the U.S. carrying out bombing missions in Iran is not a surprise, possibly sparking off World War III because of a merchant vessel. It is sort of like it's like the trigger built into the spirit of America is literally merchant vessels and us being ready to give up everything to defend them. So it is no surprise that this might be the thing that kicks off what inevitably leads to World War III.
Yeah, and the role. No, you're fine. The role of Israel in all of this is very interesting as well, as sort of the hands and feet, if you will, in that region. Of course, the U.S. military is there as well. But I'm reminded of an old friend, Doug Woodward. He wrote about how he believed America was Mystery Babylon in Revelation 17:18, where it talks about the merchants of the earth. How this is the judgment of Babylon. And let's see, we start from verse 9. Then the kings of the earth who committed sexual immorality and lived in luxury with her will weep and wail at the sight of the smoke rising from the fire that consumes her. Now this is what's interesting is I'm pretty convinced that in the book of Revelation, Mystery Babylon is the eschatological city of Jerusalem. There's many indications to suggest that. Of course, Israel is referred to as the bride and she and, female reference throughout the Old Testament as well. And so for the kings of the earth getting wealthy off of the sexual immorality of Jerusalem is a very interesting thing that, they fornicated with all the kings of the earth, that kind of thing. Verse 11, the merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her because there's no one left to buy their cargo. So they're moving the cargo around and no one's going to buy it anymore because Babylon goes up in flames. Verse 15, the merchants who sold these things and grew their wealth from her will stand at a distance in fear of her torment. They will weep and mourn. And they talk about the great city. Every shipmaster, passenger, and sailor, and all who make a living from the sea will stand at a distance and cry out at the sight of the smoke rising from the fire that consumes her. What city was ever like this great city? They will exclaim. Woe, woe to the great city where all who had ships on the sea were enriched by her wealth, for in a single hour she has been destroyed. Rejoice over her, O heaven, O saints and apostles and prophets, because God has pronounced for you his judgment against her. And then, it talks about the millstone and stuff. And then the very end of that passage, talking about the merchants, is where it says, for merchants were the great ones of the earth because all the nations were deceived by your sorcery. And that's the word pharmakia. So a lot in there, for long timers and stuff. This is all the same passage, same chapter. And then verse 24 to end it all. And there was found in her the blood of the prophets and saints and of all who had been slain on the earth. Very interesting. So, when you talk about bloodshed and control, the United States has been, look, I'm proud to be an American, born and raised in America. And I know you are, Basil. I know many people listening who are Americans feel proud of their country and everything, but also understanding that, the upper echelon have not necessarily been, look, there's a certain element of, hey, you get into power by becoming the world police. But then, after a while, nations don't necessarily need the police. They can hold their own.
Yeah.
But, we continue to insist that we remain the only police. And that's sort of the issue there with all these other nations stepping up.
I'm not even sure if we insist that we are the police. We're just the only ones capable of doing it.
Yeah, of course.
Nobody even has the capability. And yes, we all know, we've talked before, like you can love America. in a lot of different ways. There's the spirit of America, there's the American dream, there's the political America, there's the people of America. There's lots of different pieces of America that you can sort of attribute to loving America. So there's a lot of ways to do it. I do need to make a retraction or a correction. The attacks by the U.S. and UK, they were in Yemen, not to Iran, which I mentioned.
Yes.
So
it was Iranian backed. Yeah.
Right. And it's the Houthis. By the way, the Houthis are rebels in Yemen. They are fighting Yemen's government. And this is another thing I saw a lot of people getting wrong. People like, why would America bomb Yemen? Why are we bringing another country into this? We're not bombing Yemen, the Yemeni government. We're bombing the rebels who are fighting the Yemeni government. So if anything, we're helping Yemen. Who knows, in a way. But that's the idea.
Sure.
Anywho, there's
So I did this in out of order a little bit because there were a couple just headlines that I wanted to hit before we got into all this, but I'll just mention it here now. This is Politico just a couple weeks ago. No, this is a few days ago, a week ago. Headline: The U.S. is dealing with an Israeli leader who's losing control. The sentiment against Bibi is very interesting. Then, of course, you have the Telegraph. Being mirrored on Yahoo News, headline: Biden and Netanyahu have not spoken in 3 weeks amid split over war. So, you and I are going back and forth a little bit on text, Basil. I don't think necessarily that the U.S. is going to abandon Israel anytime soon. But if there is a defeat of the West, could there be a reshuffling of the relationship in a sense? And, that could cause all kinds of religious fervor all over the world, especially from, some hardcore evangelicals who are into some end time stuff that concerns Israel, or the modern nation state of Israel anyway.
I mean, that's the big question, isn't it? Will the U.S. stand by Israel no matter what, and at what cost? And, who are we willing to lose to stand by Israel? It's an interesting question because the sort of immediate answer is like, no, we will never step down from supporting Israel. They're our most important ally, especially in the region, but maybe altogether. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to think that the U.S. will stand by Israel just sort of indefinitely. And it's not just about trade. It's not just about, geopolitics. I think there's a lot of, even the elites of both countries are sort of intertwined in a way that will be very difficult to
the intelligence elite
to pull apart. Yes, the intelligence as well. Like it's hard to imagine what the world would look like or feel like or be like if the U.S. did not sort of support Israel in every possible fashion. But you can really see a roadmap to where, oh my goodness, maybe there is a world in which the U.S. would be faced with the decision. And I mean, I can't say that I couldn't imagine the U.S. standing by Israel forever and taking on the entire world in order to do so. I mean, again, remember, the U.S. military is 10 times the size of the next 10 nations in the list. It's really hard to really, I don't know, put to scale the size of the U.S. military, but you get the point. But in a world, I mean, it's so hard to, it's crazy how you can imagine, it's easier to imagine Israel and the U.S. taking military kinetic action against the entire world.
Yes.
Before it is,
before they break up.
You can imagine them separated.
Yeah, well, that's why I brought up Revelation 18, because part of the interesting thing is the beast destroys the harlot. It's part of it. And so, people have talked about the false light being the beast that makes it look like we're defeating the enemy and the world will come together and defeat this problem. And so, in the way they're setting up Netanyahu as sort of the fall guy for the whole thing is very interesting as well. And I was thinking maybe that's what they might prepare for a Trump presidency. If Trump gets in, they might pull the military industrial complex may do something similar to Trump, where we take some action, and then it's irrefutable in some, international courts that Trump is the authoritarian that's been.
Oh, you mean the
that he's
guy
been labeled.
the guy who made peace in the Middle East with the Abraham Accords?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like it'll be the big letdown because they won't let him get away with keeping peace, that kind of thing. So I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, it's when we look at Bibi's sentiment out there, it's very interesting. I feel that it is a blueprint that they might try to pull off should Trump get back into office, which all indications suggest that is where we're headed this year. But I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. With all the best that we would want Trump to do, all the good things, to expose the deep state and all that stuff, drain the swamp, whatever it is, like you said, if there's a faction that has enough influence above him, which presidents are powerful, but not all powerful, he could be putting himself in a trap. It's a trap.
Yeah, but who cares about Trump when there's World War III at stake?
Well, he would be the guy to accelerate that, I mean, he did get kind of reeled into the vaccine thing, and the lockdown stuff. So
yeah, I don't know. I don't think we can know what Trump would do until he's actually there. That's kind of his thing. Is his absolutely.
He's gonna have to come down in a UFO and stop the conflict.
Yeah, sure.
I really think that's as possible as the U.S. splitting with Israel.
Yeah, no, I think it's more likely than the U.S. splitting with Israel. You went over Bibi's quote, right, from Saturday.
Which one? The one that he says that no one will stop Israel
us on the way to victory.
Yeah. Fox News had the headline: Netanyahu declares no one will stop Israel's war to end Hamas after World Court hears genocide allegations. So, yeah. And I was going to clip this because they had on somebody. Fox News had on is more pro-Israel. Oh, by the way, I was going to mention this to you, Basil. I was going to talk to you about this before the show, but I forgot. The article here, the Netanyahu declares no one will stop Israel's war to end Hamas after World Court hears genocide allegations from Fox News, is behind a paywall, and I cannot find it anywhere. I tried to go to archives. I tried to maybe find a mirror, but I couldn't find it anywhere. I think this is they're upping their game when it comes to the paywalls over there on Fox, especially because we didn't talk about it, but they partnered with Polygon Matic to tackle deep fakes, and maybe part of that is to get more secure paywalls or something, which Web3 kind of stuff would do that. But yeah, there you go. Back to the topic. No one will stop Israel.
I want to know what would actually happen if Israel loses the ICJ case. Like, what does that mean? How is that enforced? What is the actual condemnation? I mean, that's what I don't fully understand.
He will be
it's
uploaded.
One thing to sort of symbolically be accused and convicted,
charged with a
genocide,
crime. Yeah,
but what does that mean? What happens?
I don't know.
I can't see anybody actually trying to answer that question.
I know we've never been in that situation, so I don't know. I mean, we have, but not in a few decades.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's all nothing.
Well,
maybe it's all nothing and everything's going to be fine and all the hoopla is just, getting us through the day.
To touch it back on to a topic that was brought up by Carl Teichert in our last discussion, if the UN is looking to create some kind of military, it could get to that point where some of these international organizations will need force to really stop somebody like Israel from continuing to commit their genocide, quote unquote, right? So I don't know. It's very interesting because the U.S. isn't going to step in to stop him. At least it doesn't seem like they will.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that might be the big surprise.
So this might be the setup to create that military force.
Maybe that's the October surprise for the election.
2024. Yeah.
It's first of all, again, this road that Biden is taking us down straight towards World War III. I think it's possible that it's like, oh, hey, yeah, we're in World War III. We can't have an election. I'm going to stick this through. There's precedent for that. The U.S. has done that before.
Listen to this. This is it. Admittedly, this is just a ChatGPT prompt. Okay, I just asked the question that you asked, Basil. But depending on the accuracy of this, who knows? But it says here, it depends on the nature of the cases. So, as the World Court primarily handles disputes between states rather than criminal cases against individual leaders, So I don't know if I questioned it wrong there. It's the principal judicial organ of the United Nations and deals with cases involving international law enforcement. The ICJ does not have an enforcement arm like the domestic court. If a state is found in violation of international law, the court's judgment is supposed to be binding, but enforcement relies on the United Nations Security Council and the willingness of the states to comply with international law. So there it is right there. There's your international force by the UN created to mitigate this Israel conflict.
Which the U.S. has veto power over. So it would not matter at all.
Veto on are you talking about kinetic veto?
No, I'm just saying the UN Security Council, the U.S. has veto power in the Security Council, and it doesn't matter what is brought up there. Legally, the U.S. can just veto it. So if there was a vote or a movement to, whatever the word
create
is,
a military force,
to
actually enact or what's the word I'm looking for? Enforce some kind of.
That's what it is. Yeah. If it was brought to the UN Security Council to enforce somehow militarily Israel's something,
maybe
the
that's
U.S. would just say no, and then
maybe that's the big betrayal. Maybe the U.S. doesn't show up for the vote.
Yeah, I guess that's always possible.
You never know.
Sort of House of Cards.
They need to go into the hospital for prostate cancer treatment.
The U.S. is getting prostate surgery. Okay.
Meanwhile,
let's keep moving. There's a lot here, and it's a lot to think about. But
it is a lot to think about. But of course, to round things out,
it will kill.
We're all gonna die.
Scientists to deliver a warning about nuclear war with Doomsday Clock 2024 announcement. Here we go again. It's about time. It's the time of year for Doomsday Clock update. That's what it says in the article here. It's almost that time again. Time for the annual update of the Doomsday Clock, the symbol of how close the world is to civilization-ending catastrophe. First set in 1947, the year before the nation-state Israel was founded, and the year of Roswell and all that kind of stuff. The Doomsday Clock warns humanity about how close or far we are to destroying our world with our own dangerous technologies. Quote, "It is a metaphor, a reminder of the perils we must address if we are to survive on the planet," according to the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, which sets the symbolic time each January. In recent years, the clock's settings have mostly reflected the risk of nuclear war and dangers of uncontrolled climate change. This year, the clock will be updated on Tuesday, January 23rd at 10 a.m. Eastern Time in Washington, D.C. The last announcement in January 2023 came before the beginning of the Israel-Hamas war, but amid nuclear tensions surrounding Russia's invasion of Ukraine. So it talks a little bit about the Doomsday Clock history. Do you care to hear that, Basil? I think most people are somewhat familiar with it. But if you're not, it'll be brief here. The clock was maintained. Yeah, it was maintained by the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists since 1947. The group was founded in 1945 by University of Chicago scientists who had helped develop the first nuclear weapon in the Manhattan Project. The scientists created the clock in 1947 using the imagery of apocalypse, midnight, and the contemporary idiom of nuclear explosion, countdown to zero, to convey threats to humanity and the Earth. Let's see, there's a part in here that I wanted to mention. Who decides the time on the Doomsday Clock? It is set each year by the 22 members of the Bulletin's Science and Security Board in consultation with its board of sponsors, which includes 11 Nobel laureates.
Nobel.
What did I say?
Noble.
Oh. Close enough. The big one, AI could affect the timing of the clock this year. USA Today asked Rachel Bronson, president and CEO of the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, about the factors that will affect the clock's timing this year. Quote, "Climate change and nuclear risk continue to play very large factors in setting the timing of the Doomsday Clock," she said. Quote, "As the effects of the climate crisis become more felt and the threats of the nuclear escalation in Ukraine and nuclear arms racing globally continue to loom large, for many years, we have also considered various disruptive technologies, from online misinformation. I didn't know online misinformation was a disruptive technology, but okay. To bioresearch," she said, This year, the technology conversation must also include the recent rapid achievements of AI. Dun, 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 dun. The AI
So they're
has
sort of admitting
entered.
that AI is going to destroy the world.
It has entered the fray when it comes to the, just another tool in the toolbox of Armageddon, Basil.
Okay, cool.
Okay, it goes into more stuff here. So what, how, when, how many seconds before midnight are we? Well, apparently we are 90 seconds to midnight now, Basil. And I found a chart that looks at the year by year, how many ticks are we from Armageddon? And it looks like, oops, went past it here. Got pretty close. It got down to, 2.5 minutes or so in the 50s. And then we were doing okay in the 60s, it seemed like. And then came back down 1984. We're back down to the 4-minute range. We're getting close to that bottom line there. But then a decade of prosperity. 1991, peak peace, Basil. 1991, you were a baby sack of flesh. Right?
Whoa. Yeah. Whoa.
I was what was I, 8? So I was running around thinking I knew what was going on in the world. 1991 to 1995, that period is we were how many minutes?
The Soviet Union.
Yeah, 17 minutes from midnight. That's a lot. That's a lot. But I was looking at 1991 and the significance of 1991, other than awesome music like Nirvana breaking through the Yugoslav wars and stuff. But this one thing jumped out at me. In August, the World Wide Web, originally conceived during the previous year, was released outside CERN. It was released, Basil, like an animal that is
like
going to ravage. Yes, like a creature. Okay, so originally conceived during the previous year, was released outside CERN to other research institutions starting in January 1991 and publicly announced in August. Also established the first website ever, info.cern.ch. This step was a key factor that led to the mid-1990s public breakthrough of internet, which would eventually accelerate the already ongoing globalization around the globe.
Thanks,
Basil,
CERN.
The gates of the gods were opened, and we've been on a steady decline to Armageddon ever since.
Yeah, 90 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting. Like the weird, crazy conspiracy theorist thing online. You're too jacked in. You're too, the whole thing. You're paranoid. You're reading too much news. You're worrying too much. The world's gonna end. And the scientists at the world's doom clock agree.
Yep.
It's just kind of like, what if you were the president? If you were the president and all the scientists came out and said, oh, yeah, we're done for. I want to know, what was it at when Trump was president?
Let's see. The decline began around that time. So I think it was at let's see, 23. Yeah, about 5 minutes. No, I'm sorry. What was this? 2016. So that would make it, let's see, a minute, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, something like that.
There you go.
It's hard to see on this chart. Yeah, we were a little safer.
Further away from doomsday. Even the scientists agree. Scientists agree. This is what the headline needs to read on CNN.
Yeah.
Scientists agree. We were safer from the apocalypse when Trump was president. That should be a common part of reporting on the president.
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to find. Oh, wow. They're making us click a bunch of stuff. Okay, never mind. I was going to look at the exact thing, but the chart shows clear enough that, yes, we're in a state of more. Yeah, this should be, Republicans should use this as their thing. But also,
it's a great piece of data.
The consensus of scientists isn't necessarily a great, I don't know, PR thing right now. A lot of people don't necessarily trust the scientists out there as much as they did maybe a couple years ago.
Yeah, well, that's the question. Are we just falling prey to the propaganda of the scientific community?
It's possible. This is their psyop to come into our community. All right. There you go.
All right.
Do we have some more producers to thank?
Yeah, we do. Let's thank them.
Excellent. Let's do it. Yeah. Do we have treasure producers?
Yeah, we do. We got a few.
Okay.
Play a jingle or something?
Let's do it. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
Something.
What jingle do I
don't we
usually
have
play?
Speak Pipe?
Oh, we do. Oh, yeah. We do have Speak Pipe.
Play a message first.
Let's do Speak Pipe first.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message.
Go to Canary Cry. Yeah.
Real quick. Are you messing with the volume during
Nope.
like those jingles?
Nope.
Because the volume is really erratic to me during that jingle. I don't know if it was like that out on the stream, but
Probably.
tell us in the chat. Let us know if the volume was kind of up and down and erratic during that, or if it was just me.
Yeah. Well, I did not touch volume over here.
Okay.
Yeah. Go to canarycrynewstalk.com. Any of the pages there. There's a green tab on the right side of the bottom. Click on it. It'll open a window that allows you to record an audio message of up to 90 seconds. Ooh, 90 seconds. Like the seconds, every second you spend giving us a message, it's a tick closer to Armageddon.
Yep. Another
but
great
also-
reason to leave a message.
And if you want it to remain private, let us know at the top of the message. Got a couple private messages recently. Appreciate it for those of you who sent it. You can also leave pre-show prayers. I want to thank Anthony H for leaving that pre-show prayer. Little audio stuff going on with that prayer, but it's okay. We got it coming through nice and clear. And today we have a message from Sir Ike.
Hey, Canary family, Sir Ike here. I wanted to make another announcement that the meetup we had planned this week for Jefferson City, I have rescheduled for Tuesday, January 30th. It'll be the same thing. We'll do a knock and shock in the morning, followed by at 4 p.m. we're going to meet at Eris's Pizza. So if anybody wants to come to that, contact me for more information. It's canarycrysupply@gmail.com, and I'll let you know. Thanks.
Okay. We're back on, folks. The Missouri Jefferson City meetup is back on for January 30th. So put that on your calendar. We will adjust flyers and info as we can at canarycrymeetups.com. But there you go. Missouri Canarians, or if you're in the area, if you're within striking distance, this would be a great meetup to go to. Not only because meetups are very important to meet other human beings in your area who you can band together with once the 90 seconds doomsday clock reaches its final conclusion. But also, it's good for your health. It's good for your psychological health, good for your spiritual health. Connect with other listeners of the podcast. You'll have a lot in common. And perhaps they might be the only ones that you can talk to about some of the stuff from the show. Who knows? I don't know. But this one's also very special because you will be performing a knock and shock at the representatives' offices in Missouri, where, that is action. That is local political action at its best. I think it's in conjunction with the Missouri Freedom Initiative. If you really care about the spirit of American politics, if you want to have an impact on your local communities, if you want to see in action what it looks like for, American loving people who want to not just siphon as much value from whatever the government as possible, but actually be involved in its perfection, its ever perfecting, evolving state. Go get involved, even just to learn how these knock and shocks happen. So Missouri or Missouri adjacent producers, Jefferson City, January 30th. Get in touch with Sir Ike.
I was muted. Yep. Very good. We have another message from Trump.
We will launch a new age. I am innocent. Innocent. They're coming after me. They love killing.
Okay. And here a message from the Dawn.
Ooh.
Yeah, here we go.
Houston, we have a problem. The Hat Man thought he could pull one over on us. Thought he could give us the old bait and switch, the old bamboozle. Not on my watch, folks, not on my watch. A vote for me in 2024. Here's what I will do. Day one. My first order of business as the president. I will sign an executive action instituting Operation Cool Beans. Yes, folks, that's right. No longer will your grinders cry out. No longer will your French press moan and wail, longing for the nano roast. I will give you all the nano roast. Okay? I will make it happen. If the Hat Man isn't going to make it happen, believe me, I will make it happen. With such great force and speed, the likes of which no one has ever witnessed. That's right. So vote for me, 2024, Operation Cool Beans will be a go. And together, we can make supply drops great again.
Well, as usual, thank you, Donnie, for the message. And as usual, it took a little bit of decoding for me to understand what's going on, but I get it now. Thank you, Trump. He's talking about the Canary Cry Cafe coffee roast. That was
the nano roast.
Yeah, it was the Black Goo nano roast. It came in, I think it was 2 supply drops ago. And there was always the question, are we going to do this regularly? I don't know what sort of connections Donald Trump has to our coffee roaster, but this was a custom roast by a producer of the show and packaged up. Little sample bags went into the supply drop. And it sounds like maybe might be time to make it a more regular thing. I don't know. We'll have to talk to the people. And the Hat Man took me a while. That's Sir Tinfoil Hat Man. That's Sir Ike. Got it. Okay. Well, we're going to open up that conversation, Donald. Thank you very much for your support of the Canary Cry Cafe roast.
Yep. There you go. And that's all the
Davy Frost.
We have.
Davy Frost in the chat says the nano roast was tremendous.
Oh, fantastic. I liked it too, by the way.
I have mine sitting here. I have not tried it yet.
You should just eat it.
I'm lazy.
Just eat it.
I smell it.
Just take a handful and just eat it on air. Come on,
it
do
smells
it.
good.
Do it.
If I had it within range, you know that I would grab it and chew
Just
it.
chomp,
Maybe next episode I'll put it within arm's reach.
Yeah, there you go. All right, let's thank some producers.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
Yep. We got a few more producers to thank. These are financial producers who are supporting with their God-given resources, and we appreciate them very much. They're putting value back into the show, and you can do it too. Remember, it's all about your time, your talent, or your treasure, whatever works best for you. And in these unstable and uncertain times, the majority of us are not so confident. I get it. We are led to believe that we are on the edge of destruction at any moment. And perhaps that is true. Who knows? But it is an opportunity for those who maybe aren't feeling the pain as much as others to concern yourself with value for value. We are at a place in history where relying on corporations for advertising dollars has got us in a lot of trouble as a society, and which media survives into the future, which ones get canceled, which ones, the advertising dollars are wielded as a weapon. I mean, that's the whole Tucker story. It was advertisers pulling from support of the show that killed the show. It was same with X. They wield these advertiser dollars as a weapon against messaging that they do not appreciate, or just straight up reveals their corruption. And so that's why the value for value model is so important. We're not playing advertising, but we do thank people who make the decision, I get value from this community and I want to put value back in because, not just because they are generous and charitable Christians, but because it's the only way that it survives. So these are the producers who came in under the executive producer amount, and we'll thank them right now, starting with producer Morgan E.
Morgan E, thank you.
Yeah, Morgan E came in for 1111.
11.
And Morgan E's on a 2-episode streak. Thank you very much, Morgan E.
There it is.
Next up, we got Malik W.
There we go. I must be coming through really weak on your end.
No, I was just already off talking about something else. Here we go. We got Malik W, producer Malik W, coming in for 1111.
Thank you, Malik.
11.
That's right. We got producer Sylvan C.
Ooh, Sylvan C.
Yeah. Thank you very much, producer Sylvan C. Signed up for a monthly producership of a round number. Thank you very much, Sylvan.
Thank you.
Next up, we got producer Travis H.
Travis H.
Whom I owe an email. Apologies, Travis H. I owe you an email. Came in for 1770.
Ooh.
And a note that read Acts 1770. And that was it. But I did look up Acts 17:7. Sorry. 17:7. You know what? I included 6 for context. I thought this was an interesting scripture to sort of include here. But this is Acts 17:6 and 7. But when they did not find them, they dragged Jason and some other believers before the city officials, shouting, "These men who have caused trouble all over the world have now come here, and Jason has welcomed them into his house. They are all defying Caesar's decrees, saying that there is another king, one called Jesus." That's very fun, and a very fun sort of what's the word? Exclamatory scripture about the sort of political upheaval that Jesus was causing at the time.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Travis H.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Next up, we got producer Marty K. Sir Marty K. Out of the wrong timeline.
Hey, Mr. Marty K. Thank you.
Yeah, he came in for $31.32. Oh, just avoiding that $33.33. Thank you, Marty. Sir Marty K.
Thank you, Marty.
And he has a little note here. I think he sent some pictures. He says, "Hey, fellas and fellow Canarians, to warm up here in the winter times to the dreaded American elections, I found 3 funny pics of politicians. One of them is a winter picture of Adolf." You have that winter picture of Adolf. This was such a silly picture. I thought it was hilarious.
Did I grab these? I know I grabbed these somewhere. Hold on.
Yeah,
I did get them.
We mentioned it. We talked about it.
I know. You told me. Here they are. Okay, yes. All right, here we go. This first one is it Trump? Which one are we looking at?
Adolf.
Let's see. Adolf.
I can't remember ever seeing this picture, but when I saw it, it triggered something very profound in me. And for those who are just listening, it's a black and white picture of Adolf Hitler, mustache and all, wearing sort of a fedora hat and some big puffy winter socks. And he's sitting on a tiny sled, a little old-timey German sled like you'd see in an old Christmas cartoon or something. And he is sitting very rigidly, back straight, knees at a perfect right angle, and he's just glaring at the camera. Full stone face, sitting on this ridiculous tiny sled. It is really, really an incredible historical image. Let's see here. Sir Marty's note continues. Here's a picture of Adolf, which is pretty hilarious. I found it on the normal internet, not the dark web, and there are no, signs of any kind. He just looks like a normal grandpa, like Biden. So you should be safe from not my YouTube's crazy algorithm. Yours truly, Marty K. Very fun. Yeah, Adolf hipster, Stefan says in the chat.
very
he does look
comment.
like a hipster in that
He's
picture.
very
That is
hipster.
hilarious.
Even the sled is like a very hipster sled.
It's like a homemade sled.
If a
put together in his
hipster
backyard.
was going sledding, it
Yeah.
would be this little old timey German sled.
Maybe he was misunderstood, but then that gets us in trouble to even say that. So there you go.
No, but it does. So there's an interesting connection here in the sort of filmography of the distant past, which it may be ringing in somebody's ears or in their brains right now, which is Rosebud, which is a famous bit of a film. I cannot believe that I am blanking on the name of the film. I'm going to pull it up right now. It is absolutely ludicrous that I can't remember the name of the film that Rosebud...
Charles Foster, Citizen Kane. Yeah.
Citizen Kane. Thank you. Citizen Kane, famous film, legendary in the filmy types. Well, not coincidentally, hipsters. Hipsters love Citizen Kane.
That's right.
And Rosebud is the last line of the film, and it turns out the angry old lonely man at the end of the movie was calling out Rosebud, which was the name of his childhood sled, which is this is a very, very sort of ominous picture of Adolf Hitler. I wonder, maybe he just missed his sled. Anywho, thank you very much, Sir Marty K, for that. There also included was a picture of, let's do Biden's, maybe? Biden's picture.
Yeah. Joe going up the steps or falling.
Yeah, a couple frames of the infamous falling down the stairs Biden. Very silly, thank you. And then we got one of Trump, which is a classic picture of Trump standing there, very Trumpy look on his face, very serious, but the wind is just blowing his hair in an absolutely insane direction.
Yeah, famous pic.
Thank you very much, Sir Marty K.
Thank you, Sir Marty K. I appreciate it.
Yep, and I believe that concludes the list of financial producers who came in. Still a short list comparatively, but we're coming out of the hole. Thank you very much, everybody. It really means a lot. Just to have you clicking the buttons to support the show is not lost on us. It's very impactful to our spirits. And we have some producers who came in under the $7.77 amount, which entitles them to nothing. But we'll read their name and their streak. Starting with Doctor Who Dundat, 45 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Doctor Who Dundat.
Here's Mrs. Tinfoil Hat Man, 6 episodes in a row.
Hey, there you go. Mrs. Tinfoil Hat Man is on fire. On fire, yes. There it is.
There you go. Thank you, Mrs. Tinfoil Hat Man. Sir Moore of Night of the Burning Chariots, 320 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Sir Moore.
Veronica D, 349 in a row.
Thank you.
Dame Gale, 343 in a row.
Dame Gale, thank you.
Sir Scott, Knight of Truth, 375 in a row.
Thank you, Sir Scott.
Sir Casey the Shield Knight, 389.
Sir Casey the Shield Knight.
There you go. Thank you to all of our financial supporters. We could not do the show without you. It means a lot, and we hope that you are met with blessings in all forms.
Yes.
Maybe not just because of your support, but maybe even in spite of your support. We appreciate it very much.
Yep. You can go to canarycry.support.
Canarycry.support.
And you can support the show not just with your treasure, you can also do so with your talent. And we're going to thank some producers for their talent right now, starting with audio producers.
Audio production. Productions.
And we kick it off with something from, I believe, Marty B. Hold on, let me get to my notes. Oh no, I was not ready. Which I should have been. Oh boy. Yeah, this is my own doing too. This document, I thought I was doing so well with putting together a way to make it easy. Oh, we got Jonathan F to kick things off. I'm sorry. Jonathan F here. Jonathan F. Jonathan F.
Jonathan F.
Yeah, and he sent us a note here. He actually sent us 3 things, so we'll do all 3. The first one is the 250 streak jingle, an amended version. It says Canary in the Subterranean Red Chinese Compound 250. So that's what it says there.
Canary in the Subterranean Red Chinese Compound.
What exactly is that for?
250 streak. 250
Oh,
streak.
250. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Somebody
Yeah.
just hit 250, didn't they?
Yeah, I think that's why.
Did
and
we play it
didn't
earlier?
No, we did. We played the old one, and I think you were going, why? I don't understand what is happening. I don't
But
get
now
250.
it's fixed. Okay.
It's fixed. It's clear now. Thank you, Jonathan F. for that. He also sent the 400 streak jingle.
400. Haters be hating.
Fun. That's good.
It was a good one. And then he also sent an updated executive streak jingle, which we played earlier, which goes like this. Oh, it's not playing. Here we go. There you go. Nice and punchy,
Great.
all 3. Appreciate it.
Nice
John
and punchy.
F.
Thank you.
There you go. Okay, and I think that's it for the audio production, unless I missed somebody. I'm pretty sure that's all that came in. We do have good amount of art, though.
One art, please.
And we kick off art with Sir Dove.
One art, please, from Dove.
And Sir Dove, my goodness, he's sent us a very cool piece here. And he has a note piece for today's artwork, or Monday's artwork, which is today. Artwork, I did a front and back of a possible t-shirt design for the council to vote on. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for yins. Oh my goodness.
This
How
is
awesome
the
is
most incredible thing I have ever seen. It has brought such joy to my life. And those who caught last Wednesday's episode, we had a bit of a family sit down about fushigi art. And that included some sort of fantasy about, getting really good at fushigi juggling and then going on like a fushigi for Jesus megachurch tour, and how this, would have been a viable career path, maybe in the early 2000s or something. And so Sir Dove took it upon himself to make all of our dreams come true. And on the front of the shirt here, you've got Fushigi for the Lord in big gold letters. You got Gonza's Fushigi face on the right, mine's on the left, and it says Mega Church Tour 2005. So that'll be on the front. And then on the back of the shirt, it is just the perfect what's the word? The tour shirt. Those tours of bands, they're on tour, they put all the dates of the tour.
All the dates back of the shirt. Yes, this is
Yeah,
like a
you buy
classic band. Band shirt. When you go to concerts, you get the tour shirt, and it's got all the dates.
And at the top, again, it says Fushigi for the Lord, Mega Church Tour. It's got a row of Fushigi balls right under that. And then you've got dates starting on February 9th. And the fun thing about these dates is they are taking place at the location of many of our knights and dames. So you've got February 9th, Lynn Island for Dame Island Girl Lynn. You've got February 12th is Desert Jessie. I should have the knights and dames list up for this, is what I should do. February 14th, Tyler Cornfields. 15th, Kuntukuk Valley. 18th, Taylor House. 19th, Sigra Zoo for Sir Zigra the Beast. 14th, Lynn Lakes. 15th, Fishes, Sandalfish. Oh my gosh. I got to pull up the round table here. Hold on.
I got it here. It's Night of the Fishes. It's salmon. I think it's a salmon's thing.
Okay.
Sir Salmon's. Fish.
Remember, folks, you can go to canarycryroundtable.com to see all of our knights and dames. Of course, these are the producers who, over time, have committed to, $1,000 or more to become a knight or a dame. Is Canary Cry Roundtable not a URL that we own?
I don't know that we own that one. I always go to
Really?
canarycrynewstalk.com/roundtable. So maybe we should get that domain.
I thought we had roundtable, but okay. CanaryCryNewsTalk.com. Anyways, there's about 4 dozen of these.
You just went to the page and found the locations of our knights and dames and listed them as
There's
states.
some classics in there. You've got, of course, Spears Desert. You've got Issachar Highline. You've got Ikefoil Highlands. You've
Skillet
got
Nation.
Epony Twin Blooms. You've got Redbeards on there. Okay.
Redbeards.
Rust Beltia, of course. You've got Zephyrland. Skillet Nation. Dame Allie made it. Egorius Slav. That's Sir Egorius, Knight of the Squatting Slavs. This is very special. Let's see. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'd say there's probably 25 dates on here. My goodness. Thank you very much, Sir Dove, Knight of Respeltia. Very meaningful. This is the kind of special T-shirts that you get access to at the Canary Cry T-Shirt Council. So go join up, canarycrytshirtcouncil.com. The voting starts very soon for the next T-shirt. So keep an eye out in your inbox.
Yep. There you go. Thank you very much, Sir Dove. Appreciate it. We have Darren, Sir Darren, Knight of the Hungry Pandas.
Sir Darren, Knight of the Hungry Pandas.
Needs a note. I made a short video of CCNT ads for the pre-stream. If you were here for the pre-stream, you saw it. Should I play the whole thing again? I mean, it's...
I think it's a little long to play now, but it is very helpful. Gons tried his best to put together some of Sir Darren's ads. We heard from some of the producers. It was a little clunky, so we need to smooth it out a little bit. But Sir Darren put another one together for us with some ads that I don't even think we had. And it's a very fun way to start the stream. It's not just the timer as usual. There's some fun stuff to watch at the beginning of the stream. And it is a collection of ads like Body by Basil. We had the Canary Cry News Talk Men's Parfum. What else is on there? I think those are the main ones. And also, his new Flippy countdown animation. Maybe we should play the Flippy countdown animation.
Which one's the Flippy countdown?
The one that's playing like right now. The
one that sounds like
this is in the style game. We've played this. So he made this animation before, which is kind of a green 80s style digital screen, and there's like an 8-bit version of me, an 8-bit version of you.
This is from what game is this from? I'm trying to remember the name of the game with Snake. What's the game with Snake?
Snake?
Yeah,
I don't think it's from Snake.
No, he's not the. No, he's. Anyway.
Oh, Metal Gear Solid.
Yes. I think that's what this is from. But anyway, let's play that one. Here we go.
Gons, can you hear me? I'm hearing reports about a prototype Flippy arm.
Don't tell me. Flippy is coming for our jobs.
That's right. You know what this means.
Yeah. It's wake-up time.
This is Canary Cry News. It has the up, down, left, right, A, B, select, start code, which is ingrained in the minds of all NES players. This was a common cheat code for a lot of games. Up, down, left, right, select, start. But instead of select, start, it's up, down, left, right, CCNT. Of course. Oh, I'm sorry. I got it wrong. I got the thing wrong. It's left, right, up. No, up, down, left, right, A, B, select, start is how it usually goes.
I don't remember. I remember that. I don't remember the actual exact thing, but yes, there was like a secret way to start the thing. It's
been a
while.
Sort of tattooed onto the neurons of gamer kids from the 90s.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Thank you very much, Darren S. We appreciate all your work.
Darren S. I really appreciate it.
And you're doing it right. The social media aspect of it is fantastic. Also, Darren S., beyond just creating these pieces here, he's sharing it on social media and allows us to share it to our audience or whatever, our followers. And it's a great way to do it. So thank you very much, Sir Darren. Another one here from Pizza Rat. He had a series that he sent in a little while ago, and we're catching up on some of them. But yeah, describe this one, Basil.
Yeah, this is another one on the list with Pizza Rat here, and for some reason, it's not on my list. Oh, here it is. I got it. Okay, it's pulling up. So previously, we saw the rendition of Sir Dove, Knight of Respeltia, as a grizzled old warrior man. But now we have the grizzled old warrior man, not in battle mode, but he is in his keep in some sort of castle, sitting at a desk with giant stacks of paper all around him. He's sitting with a lit candle and a quill, creating his beautiful creations for the show. His sword is laid aside while he now battles with his quill. Down in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see the Pizza Rat hole in the wall where presumably Pizza Rat lives. On the ground, you can see perhaps an unfinished piece, or perhaps a finished piece that includes one giant googly eye. Sir Dove, Knight of Respeltia, honorable warrior, but also wizened scholar of the Canarium.
I like the idea of Sir Dove, and there's a dove in the background there next to a canary.
Oh, yeah.
I like the idea of Dove doing all this with feathers. Like feather ink,
Quill, yeah.
Quill, yes. Good stuff. Ezekiel 9 style.
Makes sense to me.
Yep. Thank you very much, Pizza Rat. Appreciate it. And we got more here from, this is an old name, not an old name, but a name that I haven't heard in a while. Dame Miss G of the OV and Deep Rivers. She's back with some art. Good to see you, Dame Miss G. And she has a note here.
No, you're still on board here.
Yeah.
And here we have a great piece of sort of graphic art. It's sort of scripture art, as Dame Miss G was wont to do. We've got a bright red background with a more toned down red in the foreground, in a circle outlined in some creative black outlining. And in the middle of this circle, we've got some white text that says, "Seek the Lord your God," Deuteronomy 4:29. We've got her signing her art down in the bottom right-hand corner there. This is very striking. Thank you very much, Dame Miss G of the OV and the Deep River.
She has a note. She says, "Hello, Canary Boys. Happy New Year. I've missed creating art for the show. I recently bought an iPad and wanted to try doing digital font art. Here's my first piece, since it's been way too long that I've done art. I did a Bible verse just to get the hang of it, Deuteronomy 4:29. But from there, you will seek the Lord your God, and you will find him. If you search after him with all your heart and with all your soul. I shortened it to seek the Lord your God. If all goes well, there will be more art as I learn the program and find good quotes. Many blessings, Dame Miss G of the OV and Deep Rivers." Thank you very much, Miss G.
Thank you very much. And for those who are paying attention to the Fushigi for the Lord Megachurch Tour 2005, it looks like on January, February, March, April, May 16th, the Fushigi boys will be in G Beauty Rivers. So
Whoa.
See you there.
Oh, is this cool? I did not know about this.
Well, it's
all
there.
right.
It's on the shirt.
Aha. Oh, you're talking about the. Okay, I see. Yes. All right. Got it. Took me a second to know what you were talking about. Okay. Appreciate it. Miss G, Dame Miss G, I'm sorry, of the OV and Deep Rivers. All right. Let's do some microfiction.
Microfiction.
Time.
Microfiction.
Kick it off with Wrong Smash.
I couldn't make it. I'm sorry. I didn't make it.
It's okay.
I was trying so hard. Okay, I'm there. Skittering from the pile of recycled drone bits and into the lab is a team of spider projectors. The dark malevolence powering these four crackles silently across their lenses. They wait for the right moment to spring into action. Spider projector drones. Ooh.
Yeah, recycled drone bits. I mean, that's got to become a thing, right? Somebody's gonna.
Well, I mean, that's Ukraine for you. That's the Ukraine war, right?
Zelensky's whole thing. Thank you very much, Runk Smash. Appreciate it. We have one from Stefan S.
Year 2030, on an isolated tundra of northern Canada, a BioMyTech Cylon space android steps out of the capsule while a hovering drone transmits the images home. As UN flag is augured into the cold, hard soil, it claims Mars for the sake of all humanity. NASA
Another
aims
drone.
to put human-like robots in space.
Yeah, there's another drone story or drone microfiction.
Out our ears.
A lot of drones. Yeah. All right, one more from Jones.
A beam strikes the ship. She snaps her head behind. From this distance, unbelievable. Two teams of rocket fire break towards her, and from them, a volley of beams. More scrap metal detaches from the blasts. Ahead, the lightning sphere slows down, or rather hovers, or covers more distance, depending on your frame of reference.
Yeah, I want to know when they're going to bust out the UFO tech in all this geopolitical conflict.
Soon, God.
It's got to be the.
It's got to be the only answer.
Yeah, it's got to be the final play, right? That's the thing we're waiting for.
Of course.
So, all right. Thank you very much, Jones. Appreciate it. We got a few more coming from him, as well as Runk Smash's series there. So thank you for the microfictions, and that does it for the producers coming in with talent, helping us shape the culture behind the community. Here at Canary
If you're a
Crime
creative
Stuff.
person or just desire to get involved with the show with your basic skills, if you want to build your skills, whatever they may be, create art for the show, and go to canarycry.art and upload your art there. We'd love to feature it on the show. And if you have any articles you'd like us to consider for the show, you can go to canarycry.report and put it on the list there.
Yep. There you go. Okay. We got one more story here, Basil. And it's a weird one. Very strange one. Here we go.
But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
This is coming from the dailystar.co.uk. You know, when they're not helping bomb Yemen, they got other stuff going on like this. Headline, Goat born with human-like face leaves locals stunned as they flock to see it. And, you know, for those of you just listening, I thought this was fake. I thought this was completely, I mean, it still might be fake. Who knows?
It looks very strange.
Very fake. But
yeah.
All right. Well, let me just read a little bit and then we can describe what this goat thing looks like. A goat with a human-like face has left villagers in India gobsmacked as they flock to see the strange animal. And,
Gobsmacked. This is definitely AI. Fake. Fake story. Nobody's gobsmacked.
The odd-looking offspring born on a farm in the village of Nuav near Yuanpur, Uttar Pradesh, has become a local sensation, and the farmer, named Larchand, revealed that the baby goat can't drink its mother's milk and needs to be bottle-fed. Okay.
Unneeded.
All right.
Unneeded detail.
A video shows family members cuddling the weak animal while filming it on their phones. They were filming it with their phones, Basil. You're right. I think an AI wrote this. There's no way. Person wrote this. The little goat is so weak. So weak. It can't stand up by its...
so easy.
You know what's really weak and can't stand up by itself? a stuffed animal. But okay, let's
Yeah, that's
continue.
true.
And a young girl has to support it. In another clip, the goat is seen bleating. Oh no, wait, I'm sorry. Is seen.
Yeah,
B-L-E
bleating is the noise a
bleating.
goat makes.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that. Bleating as it mum nudges its floppy legs with her nose.
Mum nudges?
Mum nudges.
What does that mean?
I don't know. You're the animal expert around here.
Mum
you knew what
nudges.
bleating meant, but you don't know mum. I'm
Maybe
assuming
it's just
a UK
nudging
thing.
his mum.
Yeah, maybe. Mum nudging its floppy legs with her nose. Okay. Vets reckon the goat's strange appearance is down to a calcium deficiency.
Oh, yeah, of course. The goat needs more milk. For those who are just listening, when it says it was born with a human face, what it means is the place where the eyeballs of the goat would be is sort of shaved. I mean, it looks like a Jim Henson puppet is what it looks like.
Yes. It looks like a cartoon or a fake thing. Yeah.
Yeah, a little white goat. Its face has exposed skin in an oval, and instead of the eyes being sort of separated on either side of the skull, they are very close together, pointing straight out. And the eyeballs of this thing, I mean, goats have such specific eyeballs. That is like their number one characteristic. Not only that they have weird eyeballs, but that the eyeballs are specifically terrifying and off-putting. And that's, weird. Goats have weird eyes. We all know this. Goat that are, right smack next to each other on the front, the forward facing of its head, look like the human version of googly eyes. They are gigantic, round, white eyeballs with gigantic, round, black pupils. But they're like, that's it. It looks like googly eyes, like huge googly eyes pasted on the front of this goat thing. And on top of that, there's eyelids. There's eyelids on the eyeballs that look absolutely ludicrous. This is a puppet or a demon. Maybe it's a Nephilim.
Demon. It's baby Nephilim. Yeah, born in a village, very humble
Days
beginnings.
of Noah. If one of these popped up, I would have drowned the world also if I had the power. This would definitely be the occasion to destroy your creation because of the
abomination of creation.
Yeah, the corruption of my good
all
creative
flesh.
work.
Yes,
all flesh should become corrupted. And
there
I
you
just
go.
drown it all because of this creepy little guy.
I mean, yeah. There's some people in the chat saying that this is an old story. There are, I don't know. There's the article here states that it is not the first time something like this has happened in India. In 2020, the Daily Star reported on one such mutant goat, which was worshipped as an avatar of God. I remember that.
I think we talked about that goat as well. It is.
Yeah.
This is a new goat. This is a different one from the one from 2020.
This is not.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah.
If the Daily Star is to be believed, this is now the second stupid-looking goat.
So it says here. They're talking about the two-faced goat. This is a different goat they're talking about at the end there. They named it Harvey after Harvey Dent of The Dark Knight. This is the two-headed goat.
Insensitive.
Yeah. PETA's going to come after me. Yeah, I mean, the thing that struck me was the once again, the time manipulators or whatever, the other Basils or something, are just messaging you through the most bizarre news stories. And why not out of India, where we can't verify anything?
Interdimensional. There's some sort of Stargate in India that is just sending joke goats through the Stargate into our dimension.
Well, you did the Lucifer goat joke the other day. Remember we were talking about LG, and you said Lucifer goat, and then blip, 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 other side of the portal, boom, googly-eyed goat.
Yeah, this is definitely some sort of demon. Or a fake.
Warning. Demonic presence threat level 5 entering main laboratory.
Yep. Watch out. Watch out. All right. That's it for today, Gons. Thanks. Thank you to all of our producers, whether you came in with your treasure or your talent. And I'd also like to thank some producers who came in with their time, starting with the timestampers. Oh, I've been fighting.
It's hard work.
Been fighting burps all show. The show burps are back, folks. I'm trying. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, the timestampers, they're very helpful individuals. They are maybe the most faithful producers, or they are at least on par with the producers who are streaking for almost 400 episodes in a row. And we love them very much, and that their time-stamping work goes into so much of our back-end processes. And so I'd like to officially and cordially thank the producer who did episode 705 timestamps, who was Gons.
Morgan and Jade Bouncerson. They were
Double team. Thank you very much, Morgan and Jade Bouncerson, for your help, your work there. And remember, folks, there is always an open call to help with the timestamps. Just send us an email at canarycryradio@gmail.com or go to canarycry.support. Go to the bottom, fill out that form. Thank you to Jam for the links. Thank you to Clank for clanking. And thanks to everybody who shared this show. Don't forget to hit the like button before you leave, please. That helps a lot. Don't forget to share the link with your friends on social media, your real, true friends, your ride or dies on Twitter or X or whatever. But, it's a new year, it's a new you, it's a new time to find a new way to share the show. It's depending on all of us to share the show in every possible way that we can. And perhaps, you've transcribing it onto parchment and throwing it in a bottle and throwing the bottle into the ocean and waiting several years for some person on a faraway beach to find your bottle with podcasts in it. Maybe that's so 2003. And you need to find some sort of 2004 new, fancy, flashy way to share the show. I don't know. There's lots of different ways to do it. You're going to want to pray about it. But one thing you could do is rent out an entire cargo ship and fill it with the podcasts. We have like 706 episodes now. Surely that's enough to fill the hull of a cargo ship. And just go park it. Do some donuts out in the Red Sea, right in front of Yemen there. Just wait for some silly Houthis to come out and launch a missile at your podcast shipping ship. And what they don't know is that podcasts are extremely explosive. Yes, they have the force of incalculable minds blown. So, you package up all 706 episodes worth of mind-blowing truth. You hit that with a Houthi missile, and boom! Now you've got podcasts reigning over the entire Middle East. And
you got super loud in my ear all of a sudden.
Get a clue. Oh, yeah, I don't know. We're still working on this technology thing. It's tough, folks. But there you go. That's just one way you can share the show. You don't got to share it that way. You can share it whatever way you want. But the point is, we call it rattling cages, and all you got to do is walk right up to them, grab them by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Gons, you got any last words?
I forgot to thank some people for their snail mail.
Oh.
So I will do that on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple things that came in, and appreciate you guys who sent in the snail mail. But yeah, we will properly thank you on Wednesday.
A little note here from Tower over on Twitch said Basil volume didn't change in the stream, Gonzo.
Okay.
That volume change
Great.
on your side.
Great. I love not pressing any buttons and volumes changing. This is a fantastic feature of
But
the
the point
new
being, I
stuff.
think it was just for you. Like, we're
Great.
not getting a quality monitor of the situation.
Apparently not.
Because, for instance, just now, your voice got very loud for me. I do not know if it got loud for anybody else. And we are getting that lack of change confirmed over on YouTube.
Great.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
Toilets! I've ordered more pills than anyone in the world.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
Circle back, but I'll have to circle back. Circle back, but I'll have to circle back. Circle back, but I'll have to circle back. I'm happy to circle back. I'll have to just circle back with you. We can circle back on that one. Circle back with you. It's an interesting question, but we'll circle back.
Onward, Christian soldiers, time to take a stand. Upward, Christian soldiers, march to the promised land. They scourged us and purged us, they hate our Jesus. They burned us and stoned us, they're the minds with diseases. Onward, Christian soldiers, raise his banner high. Upward, Christian soldiers, lift his name to the sky. They accused us and abused us, they threw their souls away. They cancel, try to shame us, but we can't be denied. They mocked us and mocked us, they're nothing but twisted clowns. They scourged us and purged us, they hate our Jesus. They burned us and stoned us, they're the minds with diseases. Onward, Christian soldiers, trying to take a stand. Upward, Christian soldiers, march to the promised land.
Then Fetterman says that
the joke is on you. I had a stroke. I can't fully understand what you're saying. I had a stroke. I can't fully understand what you're saying.
the man is eventually escorted out by police as he tells the senator to go home.
Another mighty angel come down from heaven, hold with the cloud and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire, and he had in his hand a little book open, and he set his right foot upon the sea, and his left foot on the earth. Face like the sun, face like the sun, face like the sun, face like the sun. Face like the sun, 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 face like the sun. Face like the sun, face like the sun.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
Canary, crime not support.